All right, everybody. It is an emergency.
State of emergency.
State of emergency. So we showed up. They got fire alarms going off in the background.
Calling all cars.
Calling all cars to 3 alarm, 5 alarm, some alarm fire.
Don't call me until y'all need the hostage negotiation.
I think we're there, bro. I think we're there. If you don't know, Ben Johnson is a bear. What? Do you mean the Raiders did not get the person that we thought we were going to get? And we probably got used as leverage? No. That would never happen.
We are what we call a practice girl. We got practice on, and he uses this as leverage, man.
Hey, y'all, I don't lie. First of all, I haven't seen you had this much. I don't know if I want to say glee, because it's not really glee, but it's like that I told y'all so, kind of like I want to tell y'all I told y'all so without telling you so. And then Western is like, he like predicting everything as it goes along. Like I don't know, y'all, and I'm just here for the ride. So yeah, this is funny. This is quite entertaining.
What do you think I said for one shining moment? Right? We have that moment, guys. There's always that last podcast where just for a little bit, we were the team that does things right. You know what I'm saying? We got a date with the hottest girl to the prom, and she said yes. And then at the last minute, somebody else asked, and she was like, "Well, he got that one car, so yeah, we're going with him." And now here we are. I remember when we fired our GM. Do you remember that? You guys remember that? We fired our GM. I think we fired our GM.
Yeah, fired him just for this guy here. We tried to appease Ben Johnson and give him what supposedly what he was asking for, a clean slate. His picking a GM because he wanted to have a coherence, and we gave that all to him, and look what happened. And just like how you said, the hot girl at the prom, we got to ride with her in the car to
in the limo that we rented.
You know what I mean? And then as soon as we got out of the car,
and then went straight to the parking lot while he was pimping off the Dodge Viper or whatever. Yeah. We're like, you're not gonna go on the door
ride in the house, man.
She's like, well, actually, Billy has a Viper, so.
You're
no, the high school quarterback was like pump faking on her because he was really trying to go with somebody else, and then come to find out, the high school quarterback came back and was like, "Yeah, I just did that to make you mad." So now they going to the prom together. We still at home dressed in a tuxedo trying to figure out if we still gonna go or not. But we gonna go. We just don't know we gonna go by ourselves. We gonna go with an old flame. Are we going? What we gonna do? What we gonna do? What we doing? What we doing? We're going with the guys.
Our contact book right now. We're gonna be like, who could we take to the prom with us right now? And you know what I mean? And we're trying to find out which one wants to go with us, man.
Who's the nice girl? Who's the nice girl that didn't get asked?
Well, a lot of people are surprised. A lot of people are, thinking, here we go again, right? And then there's me, who just waiting for this day so that we can go ahead and do the real thing, which is, let's talk about the Raiders, right? Because the Raiders, we don't pick some number one, everybody wanted them, offensive coordinator that got wooed by our brilliance. Come on. That's not our story.
Yep.
It's not. So the question is, what is our story? Hmm? Like, what will be said about this little period in a few years? Well, we dumped our GM without a head coach already signed. The whole bird in the hand or two in the bush really does apply here, doesn't it? So, you know, shout out to Tom Telesco for doing everything right and getting fired by another organization and probably never being able to get a GM job again in his life because Steve Johnson looked pretty.
Yeah, I I think he might get a phone call, to at least get a interview. I feel bad because I picture Tom Telesco in his house, sitting on a sofa with his wife, with his wife beater, boxers, five clock shadow going on, beer cans stacked up, not even
Bro.
watching over, and he's just waiting, you know what I mean, for the phone to ring. But hey,
Oh,
man, it's just unfortunate what happened, man, because he I felt like he was a very good GM. He got us, some great talent. Of course, we didn't get the Jaden Daniels, and like we all had hoped for, right? But still, he had a good draft, and it just sucks that we let him go because we thought that we were going to get Ben Johnson, and I just have to say so Ben Johnson. All fingers, all that per Adam Schefter says that it's a done deal. And for those who do not know, his defensive coordinator now is Dennis Allen. So if that was going to be his defensive coordinator, once I saw that, I'm like, okay, there was no way that Dennis Allen would come back over here. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't. There's just so much that's going in, to it. But there's two ways that I see how this happened. He either used this as leverage, right? Or
mhm.
he knew from day one, that the Bears, was his job. Um, they say that supposedly and reportedly, in the last 24 hours, like he was really favored to go to us, and then something just happened where he completely just flipped and wanted to go with the Bears. So you know what? I just have to say this, and I'm gonna just say this now. F Ben Johnson, man. F him.
He
I
eats
hope
corn the long way.
he eats corn the long way. He eats Subway the long way. He plays the tuba backwards. All that stuff. And yeah, man. But let's be honest here. You know what I mean? Like he has a quarterback there in Caleb who he really thinks, that he could uh work with over there. And aside from that, I really think, that was the, case that was the deciding factor, was we didn't have a quarterback. But honestly, we could have told him like, hey, like we'll be aggressive in the draft. We'll trade up if that's something that you would like to do. And but hey, you know what? It's done. In the words of wasted talent, Ben Johnson is now unceremoniously blocked. I'm not gonna bring him up, past his live here. He's done, he's old history, and that's
Mhm.
all I have to say, on that.
Oh, no, I would bring him up. We ain't letting this one go because this storyline will continue for the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Who's the GM going to be again? How will he draft compared to Tom Telesco? Hmm?
Right. So all fingers are pointing to John Spytek, right? But who knows if he could hit players like Tom did, right? There's like how, why could he, so much questions that we could ask, right? And fun fact, we play the Bears at home this upcoming new year, so that's going to be a very, very interesting game.
Interesting.
Very interesting game.
Well, Las Vegas, you better yet? Because we need some of that. I need that bitter ass energy when we play the
Yeah,
Bears.
and then I just gotta I just gotta say here too. So I was not completely sold on it, and I'm not even sold, on the whole thing with Pete Carroll or whatever coach that we're in talks with, right? And until that contract is signed and the ink is on the paper. So that's why you do not count your chickens before they hatch. And
you don't come out saying like you know for sure what's happening because you don't.
And I know there's a lot of Raider fans, a lot of Raider content guys out there who are making these blasphemous stuff that it's done, and that's why I don't want to come out and say things, I guarantee this guy will be signed or this player, because things change every day, and I don't want to be that person who says, okay, we're going to sign this guy for this much or this coach for this much, and then what happens? It doesn't happen, and it makes you look foolish. And a lot of Raider fans in general too, they get their heart broke because they're caught up with Ben Johnson, and no matter how much Vic Tafer, Vincent Bonsignore, I hope I said his name right, and the other outlets out there, I'll post and I'll share their things, right? But you got to take it with a grain of salt because they don't truly know, and nobody knows except for Tom Brady and Mark Davis. So,
well, this is what scared me. What I knew was that something was up. It was really fishy. When oh boy Vic came out and was like, we have zero interest in Deion Sanders. I was like, okay, there's some bullshit happening right now. Shout out to Vic Tafer, but for some reason it seems like it should be opposite of whatever he says about this kind of stuff, insider stuff. And to say that we have absolutely no interest in Deion as a head coach, I can tell you is not true.
Yeah, and then I just have to, say this too. Like, we can't believe anything that they're saying now. Because a lot of and it wasn't just Vic Taver, so we're not like trying to focus on him too.
Vic, the whole media,
all of them were
ESPN
like,
was
okay,
having a baby because they thought he was going to come over here.
Yeah, they all said that they will be strongly shocked if Ben Johnson was not our head coach, and it just, so I don't know who's telling them stuff or what, ever, right? Of course they have the more insider stuff than we do, right? But all those guys were in the same boat bucket, and they were wrong.
Go ahead, Black. Go ahead.
They don't have more insider stuff because remember what I told y'all? I wasn't talking to y'all, but I was saying it to y'all that remember Pac-Man Jones said, I said, I don't care if it's true. I'm not trusting Pac-Man Jones or his insider. Remember I said, I don't care if it is true. Remember I said that? It's a reason why I said that. Because like before I said that, I was like, I'm postponing judgment. I'm postponing judgment because for one, I know how the Raiders move. For two, what makes logical sense is what we do the opposite of. So I was like, I don't know. Everybody's on this Ben Johnson hype. I actually got to really like scrutinize this game in the playoffs, and I wasn't impressed. They might have did us a favor with that. I mean, like we might have did each other a favor. Like this was a bad relationship waiting to happen. Like we put Remember, I kept telling everybody, "Is this my daddy? Is this my daddy?" You stop trying to make everybody your daddy. Like, man, come on. Like, every coach ain't gonna fit here. We need to figure out what's gonna fit here and create a culture of that. And Ben Johnson had no resume of doing that. So really, he wasn't even the best. He wasn't even the best fit for us, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
You guys, I don't know if I think I've been really consistent with my questions here. Where's the experience? Why would we hire a coach with no head coach experience after we just hired a coach with no head coach experience and they failed because they had no head coach experience? It's not like AP doesn't know how to play football or wasn't liked or didn't fit with the organization. He didn't have the experience necessary to do the job. So why would we go and hire somebody who doesn't have the experience and hope again? That's what we were going to be doing. And then when you start rookie mistakes, we was going to have to like paper over those and be like, oh, no, it's not a big deal, when we thought it was a big deal with AP, right? I would have called his ass out for the same things. So
man, what I'm mad at is I keep hearing people jump off the boat now. Like, everybody was having a Ben party, sausage party, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it kept saying it like he was signed and everything, and I'm like, man. And I ain't talking about nobody on this panel because we really already had one eye on the situation. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just something wasn't right. But now I'm sure all these content creators, they were sitting up there making these thumbnails to make it seem like it's a absolute, and then they put the little question mark behind it. Like, they knew what they were doing. They really thought that he was going to come here. I couldn't understand how we went from the least desirable team to the favorite in a matter of, like you said, one comment. We have zero interest in Coach Prime. Like, man, that just didn't seem right. Like, something just ain't right. Where there's smoke, there's fire, but that don't mean it's 420 smoke.
Right.
That's right. Might just be some sticks. Raider Ryan makes a good point. At least we did the right thing and cast a wide net. We're not high and dry. Ben did us a favor by taking the job quickly. Okay. At least we seem to be doing things the right way. I will say this. Ben Johnson did not do an in-person interview. I repeat, Ben Johnson did not do an in-person interview. That tells me it was Chicago the whole time.
And then also too, so I just want to just chime on that too. So based from what I heard and saw, when Ben Johnson supposedly agreed to terms with them over there, right? Like, he didn't even have an in-person interview with the Bears. So that's kind of fishy too. You know what I mean? Like, he had all his interviews with the teams who wanted to like hire him, right? But it was not in person. And then once the Lions were done, right, he said, all right, I'm gonna fly out to go see the Bears, us in Jacksonville. But he really like never had an in-person interview with the Bears. So he kind of had his head set, you know, on like, this is what I want to do. And yeah, he signed. So I heard that a jet, some jet, they landed in Chicago earlier, right? And then it was done. You know, they just like hashed out terms and stuff. So but yeah, you know, I always had my, you know, pros and cons on Ben Johnson, right? You know, if we were to have him as a coach, you know, yeah, I would be excited to get him, right? But as I said before this podcast went on the air, you know, I said, you know, Ben Johnson is like a box of chocolates, right? You do not know what you're gonna get with him. Like, yeah, he has, you know, trick plays, you know, and this crazy offense, right? But I'll say this one last time because I feel like I'm a broken freaking record on this. Check out the Lions' O line and the players that they have over there. That's one thing that we do not have. That's something that's going to take him time, you know, to like, you know, build. And what if, you know, we give him all this, you know, cash and stuff, right? We give him the terms, we clean house, GM, but then unfortunately, things don't pan out. You know, he's not who we thought that he was, right? So Hot said, you know, Pete Pete Carroll, and I'm gonna just bring him up here, right? So if he's gonna be our next in line, right, the 1B, you know what you're gonna get with Pete Carroll. You know what you're gonna get because he's been there, done that, right? With Ben Johnson, we only seen him as an offensive coordinator, so we don't really know what he's gonna be like to run the whole ship.
Mhm.
So F Ben Johnson, man,
Yeah.
F him.
Hmm. Yeah. So Shredder, thanks for being here, Shredder Hector. He says, "Is Pete Carroll gonna be the next head coach, or will it be Doom Scroll Ron
Oh, I said
Rivera?"
this earlier. I was like, wouldn't it be the most Raider thing to like do if Ron Rivera was our head, coach? Now look, I ain't hating
Hmm.
on him, right? I'm not hating on him, but he's not, the guy who I want to be our head, coach. And there's a lot of people who say, well,
No.
look what he did with the Panthers, right? He had Cam Newton in his prime, and I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
I
Listen,
would take him
he
as
got
a
fired
as a
from that
defensive
job.
coordinator, but not as a head coach.
Sure. Sure. And then if he was the coordinator, I feel about it as much about like it'd be like having Rob Ryan or somebody like, okay, well, somebody. Um,
FBJ, Raider
he makes
Ryan. Hey, yeah, that's right.
yeah, BJ.
We
That's right. We don't need any BJs around here.
we don't want those type of BJs around here.
Oh.
We don't want those type of BJs around here, man.
So
Oh,
BJ is going to choke with Caleb. He says, "Yeah, BJ's be choking." He he's going to choke with Caleb and fight with the GM because they don't have the same vision. What happened to this whole? I want a GM and get a clean house. They didn't clean house. They kept their GM, who's not even like good or well. He's okay. He's controversial. Kept him around. Guess he didn't need his GM to go to Chicago, huh? So we fired our GM, but they didn't fire theirs, and they have it.
yeah.
Okay, I just
So
wanted
so
to
that tells you,
let's go over
like
that.
all that stuff. He wanted his own GM. He wanted his own say. It was kind of just all BS, man. It was just
Raider Ryan Smart, he doesn't believe shit till it happens.
yeah.
Oh, did Ohio State win that game? I didn't even get a chance to catch up on that.
Yeah, they were last I checked before we were on the air
Mm-hmm.
they were up by 8 in the fourth, and then I don't know what, happened after that. So I'm guessing that
Yeah.
they won.
All right, nice. Yeah. Chad, give us a score if you have it. Um, but yeah, what's up, all eyes on G? See, he's smart, man. This is the thing, okay? Like you have to learn, man. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way, I guess. But listen, insiders, people who say they have insiders. This is the thing about people who actually have insiders. They usually don't say they have insiders.
Yeah. So I just want to just clarify here right now, right? So when I post stuff, things about about like Pete Carroll, Ben Johnson, and like coach candidates, all that stuff, right? It's stuff that I'm hearing from various beat reporters and Raider insiders who cover them, right? I ain't the like one saying, oh, I talked to this insider or anything, right? I'm just sharing the stuff that I see, and I want to share it with y'all because I feel like sometimes most of the people might not have access to that, or they won't see it until like it's very late. So I just like to share things like that. But I just want to clear the air. I don't have no Raider insider. I don't have any inside team sources or anything like that at all. I'm just an average, hardworking guy just like y'all out there watching, because anybody could get on here, create, things about Raiders, cars, whatever, right? But I just have to, say, I don't have any insiders or anything like that. So wish I did, but I don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really clear to you guys about what I know and what I don't know. and that's it, right? Um, Sometimes I will say to you, I'm very sure about something, right? But we don't go around doing this whole insider stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean, listen, man, you've been at work before, right? You hear things at work when you work at a place that sometimes there should be rumors and don't
Exactly.
be true at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just remember that part,
Yeah.
right? But yeah,
So I,
interesting.
I
What was
one last thing I just got to say on this whole insider thing, right? I just know a lot of Raider content creators. A lot of them lost a lot of credibility with the people who follow their channels and watch their content because now the next time you go across their stuff, if you didn't unsub from them yet, you're gonna be like, what? Like you're full of shit. Part of my language, but I just gotta call it, how I see it. You know what I mean? I don't hate on no greater content creator or anything like that. It's just I'm very careful with what I put out on my channel and the things that I say because I don't want to be that guy who
yeah,
does stuff for clicks, and likes and oh come on over here and check out my channel because I'm gonna say this guy's gonna sign, right? I will always give you guys my honest takes and honest, things like that. I will never ever create some BS, to like say like, oh, I'm gonna create some stupid lie so that way you guys can come on down over. I will never be that content guy out there. So thank you guys, for tuning into the show here because I know that there's a lot of you guys out there have seen it, who've been on there, and you're watching it, and you're like, oh man, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And I feel like integrity and principle, a lot of people don't have that nowadays. So, and that's one thing that I, will always have honor with.
it's important, right? It's important. Like I don't want to give people misinformation. Like that's the opposite of what I want to do here. Right. That's what the point of this show is to make Raider fans more educated.
Correct.
We want to raise the level of the Raider fan,
Right. And
right?
then we also share
Rise.
our point of our takes too, which is not the same as
Mhm.
other content creators out there. We're cut from a different cloth. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Nope. We're gonna tell you all the stuff that's real, and most of the time, since you're a Raider fan, you're not gonna want to hear that because we're the Raiders. But when it's good, it'll be good if that ever happens again. So here we are, right where we started from, right? Back to
And
basics.
I just have to say that
Who will be the
this
king?
comment here, like Wasted says, we are always the bridesmaids, never the bride, never the brides. Shout out to Wasted Talent, man. Not like he's one dude, him and Graph. I like their stuff, I like their content. So shout out to the Wasted Army. You know, salute.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Wasted and Graph, keeping it real over there. But yeah, man, like, should we have expected anything else? Hell no. I think we all knew the other shoe might drop. Was waiting for
Mm,
it, right? As soon as the game ended, people started gripping, like, okay, they lost. I mean, they could announce it any time now. I'm like, man, listen, we ain't gonna find out until Monday. It's gonna be on Monday. That's what they're gonna do. And then so Monday about lunchtime, what do we get? Ben's a bear. Well, we're gonna have to grin and bear it and decide who we're gonna pick, right?
mm.
Who's our who's our guy? Who we want to run with? Um, so that's the question. Now out to the chat and to my panel. Who is the number one candidate that you would say, let's go get this guy and make him the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders? Put your nuts on the table. Who is it? Who would you choose?
So I'll just say, I just always had this feeling that if Ben Johnson was not going to be the guy, that Pete Carroll should be that 1B person. I felt like he's perfect to go against those high tier coaches that we play against in the AFC West. He's beaten them all four, right? Um, I know a lot of people hate on his age, right? Well, he's old. What's his
Mhm.
5-year plan? Not die. I have heard them all. I've heard them all, right? And I just have to say, he is very young at heart. I'm gonna say
Mhm.
this, one last time too. The coaches in the AFC West, they're all over 60 years old, and they're not no young spring chickens. And just in case you guys don't know, the chat here, Andy Reid is 66, and Pete Carroll is in better shape, than him. And I understand Reid is a great coach, but health wise, Pete Carroll is a lot more healthier than him. And I feel like if Pete Carroll comes in, he could change the narrative to our team to ride the ship right. And I understand. Okay, well, he's old and he won't be there. Past 3 years, 4 years, right? But I have a strong sensation and a good gut feeling, and I'm pretty good with my gut feeling. I ain't perfect, but I try to be. That he will have a successor in place by the time he goes, and by the time he does go, our team would be a night and day difference compared to now and the last day of his coaching with us if he were the head coach. But I'm very high on Pete Carroll. I even went on Twitter, guys, and I don't ever use it. Ever, 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 ever. And I put in at Pete Carroll, at Tom Brady, at Raiders. Please hire Pete Carroll. You know what I mean? I made that little tweet to that. I mean,
Mhm.
of course,
Yeah, you're like,
yeah, you know what I
listen,
mean? And of course,
if
right?
there's
I'm
any
just like a
doubt,
tiny little ant compared to their
you
whole
did it.
stuff, right?
Western. No,
But
man. I'm sticking with the story that Western saved the day. So what happened was Tom had some doubts after that game, right? He was like, wide receiver fucking pass at that time in the game? Y'all just turn the ball over that many times? I don't know. And then he got this little tweet, and it was like from a real Raider fan, and it said, please hire Pete Carroll. And he was like, damn.
it just popped up on his phone. He didn't look real quick. He was like, "Oh shit." No, but yeah, I'm so I'm gonna just end that in this here. Like I am all in, chips all pushed like this
He
towards Pete
said,
Carroll. Like I'm all in. Here's boom.
let it ride. Huh. Huh. I don't know if you ever saw Futurama, but
Yeah.
uh, there's a scene where he's in the little casino letting it ride, and I could just see you push all them chips in,
Yeah. I'm I'm I'm
right?
I'm I'm all in on him, man. All in, all in.
You know, I guess we on the same team. Pete Carroll, please. I'll take some Pete.
Man,
And I
didn't
say,
y'all daddy tell y'all never to go all the way in? It's the reason why you don't go all the way in.
You got to pull out, man.
that's
You
what
got
she
to
said.
pull out. Oh man. Now this show is about to get unceremoniously blocked for that. No,
I mean, I did it in a nice way. I mean, I could
No,
have
I
did it
know,
the
I know. I'm
Marshawn
just
Beast
kidding.
Mode way, right?
It happens. It happens, man. Shout out to the chat. Okay, looks like people got caught out there doing things. No Diddy, y'all. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Strap up, put your raincoats on. It can get wet real quick. So
We don't have to agree.
just be careful.
Yeah, it's true.
We're not all in kindergarten. That's damn
Hey, that's
Skippy.
funny, right?
We don't agree. Hmm. 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 It's funny, isn't it? So yeah, right. So how he said, we get a comment. This is interesting. He says, "How y'all non-tankers feel about one of those late-season meaningless games now? If the Raiders had a top pick, Ben Johnson may have come to Las
See,
Vegas."
who?
It's not,
No,
there was
no.
somebody who
Look,
said
check this
that when
out.
we did that we was going to ruin our chance at the top coach. Who was that
I don't
said
think
Ben
that?
he's saying
Johnson
it
was never
to
Ben
us.
Johnson was never coming to the Raiders, man. So I'm sorry, just because he took us out to Chuck E. Cheese or Dave and Buster's, he wasn't gonna be our daddy. That wasn't our daddy. Sorry. He just did that. He just dated this to make the other one look enticing. Because if he went over there and was like, the Raiders gonna give me 90 million or 60 million for 6 years, I need something equivalent to that. So all he did was just up the bag for him. He got a quarterback. Y'all the ones that's delusional thinking AOC is attractive enough to bring somebody like a offensive futurist and behind an AOC. I mean, I would take Caleb too. You know what I'm saying? And we got number 6 in the draft. We don't know we can get Shador. And even if we get Shador, then that kind of put the Dion thing into play. So, man, we wasn't getting him. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. He just like hitting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's facts, man.
You might be right.
We should have,
You might be right. I
lost
don't
those
think it
games
helped.
just because we were already on a 10-game losing streak. And if we're not going to make the playoffs, right, we might as well just ride the ship out to get a higher draft pick. And so I was in more of the higher draft pick, not more to Ben Johnson, but just so more we could get our quarterback or whoever, the GM, and coach, whoever that was, had eyes on. But I was kind of more on having that first round pick locked because I'm really high on Cam Ward, and that's why I wanted that first round pick so bad. So if we do trade up now, we are gonna have to trade up. You know what I mean? So it's just that sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, big shout out to Wasted and Graph.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a good suggestion by Raider Ryan, right? If there was a way to get Pete Carroll and then have Liam Cohen as his succession plan, not predecessor, but I get what you're saying.
That would
Then
be beautiful.
I think that'd be, I mean,
Beautiful.
that's cooking with grease right there, as far as I'm
The
concerned.
Grease, Crisco,
And
everything. That's super fire right there, man.
but there is a camp out there, and I need to give room to it and give voice to it that says this is not our job to give. That this job belongs to one man because it was stolen out from under him, and he's available. And I got a idea that he might take it, and his name is Joe Gruden. Oh wait, I'm sorry,
Joe Gruden, it's his
John.
brother, Joe. Hey,
But if Joe wants to come too, I guess that's the deal. We got to take Joe.
Joe
Maybe
Gruden,
Joe
I
will
baby.
do the
mean,
draft.
you ever
Maybe
get a,
Joe drafts and leave John in the
yeah,
world.
can we get Joe to draft,
Yeah.
man? Like, John, you coach. Joe, you do the draft. How about that? I mean, we don't know who's doing our draft.
But
Anyway.
wait
It's not like we
though.
had
But
some.
wait, actually, you know what? I kind of have to backtrack a little bit on the John Gruden draft thing because what I kind of notice is the people that he drafts, they end up being good like later on in their career. They don't jump off the map when they first start. I kept hearing names like we was joking about Farrell. Farrell was making plays in the playoffs. I just happened to see him playing. I mean, I'm just saying. So he must have made his game good enough
He just wasn't
to be there. So
top
I'm
10
just
pick
saying.
good. That's all.
No, I ain't saying he deserved where he got picked at. What I'm saying is they wasn't total misses. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the ones that were, they ended up in jail. So that's the thing, right? But that happens. We just gotta be a little more careful. Listen, it was bad. I don't want him drafting again, but it's never as bad as as it sometimes gets made out to be when stuff gets hyped up in the media and stuff like that. And we like to joke around and shit, right? So we take it to hyperbole levels. But all I say, Carol and draft Jinty, huh? What's up, Rick? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being
It's only
here.
one guy's job, man.
No,
Go on and get Gruden back in there and, man, quit playing.
Right. Let's see. Something about Raider D. Okay. And then don't go all the way to no Diddy. They won't leave. Let's see. We got breaking news. Ben told Brady he was lying.
Like, that's funny.
That's a good one.
He said, I had a lion in my pocket. I'm lying.
That's a good one.
Tom Brady said, I had a lion in my pocket. I'm lying.
That's a reason. Nobody even knows if Ben Johnson likes his quarterbacks in the draft. No. My point is, top quarterback is a way you get top coach. Harbaugh was looking for the quarterback he liked. It wasn't anybody in the draft. It happened to be, right, Herbert, and he was wrong because Herbert's not very good.
Well, yeah, because everybody say he is, so it was almost like the natural choice. Like, oh, he's better than any of the quarterbacks in the draft, and we already see his what he brings to the table. Maybe I could tweak him, and I'm the difference. That's what he thought right there, which makes sense.
But it's a ticket in the door. You don't even get to go to the We Shopping in that section, right? Saying you don't got a Price Club card, you're not going Price Club, man. And so you got to have a quarterback just to walk in the door. They're like, nah, you're not a member of here, so you can't shop here, right? We're not shopping for top coaches without the quarterback situation, right? And so here we are. And what do people keep saying? Well, they don't even have their quarterback figured out.
So I just have to chime in on that too. So the reason why I'm so high, I'm like getting like a Cam Ward or a Sanders, or just a good quarterback in general, a highly drafted guy, right? Because I brought this up in the past. Just look what Jaden Daniels is doing. He gives his team life. He gives his team faith and hope. He like him being there gave the whole team like, oh shit, like we could actually we have something to play for now because we have hope. You know what I mean? And part of my cursing, but that's what you get when you draft a high tier guy, like a Jaden Daniels or a Sanders potentially, right? But it's just that getting that high drafted guy, you get him in there, especially a quarterback, it gives the whole team hope, it just gives them faith.
That's right. Yeah, salute to right away. This is funny. Yeah, Marvin Lewis would be one step below the Ron Rivera type hiring, right? Marvin Lewis would be the Art Shell type hiring, guys. So let's not go there, please. Gillis Cohen is not going to make a lateral move. This is true, but you can give him an assistant head coach title. And so that would not be lateral in that way. And successor to Pete is not lateral. If you know that in 3 years, you're probably going to take over as the head coach, right? Unless you burn the house down. That's something, right? So, yeah. I love how the chat salutes each other. That's awesome. Nation. So, Pete Carroll and Robert Saleh with Ed Dodds and Mike LaFleur of the Rams.
That's a good,
so Ed Dodds
combo.
is not leaving. Ed Dodds is not leaving the Colts. It was announced he will be staying with them for next season, so that's not an option right now. Okay. But Pete Carroll and Robert Saleh is a combination that could be an option. And then grabbing Mike LaFleur in order to steal some of that LaFleur talent. What's funny is that we just ran that offense under Getsy. So if you guys didn't like it, you probably won't like it under somebody else, right? Or maybe it's just the Getsy's an idiot. He said, Raquel said, all my cars got leather and wood.
Leather and wood grain, third coasting.
Yeah, for sure. He's pulling up. He's pulling up
in the trunk. Yeah, leather
in
wood,
the
man.
Trunk, leather and wood. Arnett, yeah, those were some picks there.
Come on, all right, man.
So
I'm sure in different. I'm not saying everybody he picked. I'm just saying, like, I hate when people do that, man.
Someone
When you make a statement, then they gotta go find one thing as if that's on. I'm just saying, let's use it in context of in general. Like all his picks didn't miss. Like I'm sure if he would have been able to coach those players for extended amounts of time, he would have been able to get the best out of those players. Is essentially what I'm saying. And then some of these players went to other places and ran into other good coaches and had a chance to highlight their talent. That's all I'm saying. But Arnett, okay. But we
No, but
was
so
Meek Roberts. We liked the Meek Roberts, but we didn't know he was guarding one-on-one on Jefferson. We didn't know that. Because if we would have known that, we would have never got rid of him, right? So yeah, that one.
So it wasn't all John Gruden too. Like who else was there helping him draft? Mike Mayock. And my biggest thing with them is just a lot of the first round picks, high draft picks, they didn't pan out. And with those kind of high first round picks, you got to hit. You got to hit because it plays a big role in that. So I don't point all the blame on John Gruden. It was Mike Mayock too. So it is.
Well, yeah, if you're a GM, stand on business, right? Stop. We got to stop with these GMs like folding to the coach, like, okay, well, if that's what you want, I guess what we're going to do. No. So, like, I'm the personnel expert here, and I'm standing on business. You want to make those calls, then you can do it over my motherfucking resume when I fucking quit, right? Because we're not doing it, right? But this is why I don't believe in coaches picking GMs. I don't think it's a thing. Okay. I don't know if anybody's been in construction, but that's like operations picking the safety man. It's just not going to work out.
Good analogy.
Okay.
Good analogy.
There's a reason why operations don't pick safety, because they got different ideas about what's important. They got different motivations, right? You're going to have an independent safety person. We need to have a GM who's thinking about the team's long-term plans, regardless of who is in position at coach or who is the current players.
Yeah, it's hard to have a checks and balance system when you're doing that, and it's hard to hold each other accountable with everybody play golf together.
And then, like you said, if something go wrong, we got to fire everybody, right? Because y'all was all the same, right? We can't even determine who's the problem, right? Like, give that man control over who's on the roster, and then when the roster ain't good enough, we know who to fire, right? When the roster is good enough but they don't play well enough, we know who to fire, right? We got rumors. Getsy didn't want the OC, and the OC was Getsy, and he wanted somebody else to start a quarter. No, the GM don't have nothing to do with who start. And as soon as you start letting that shit happen, then you get confusion. The head coach is in charge of who starts. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what the GM said, because you know what? The buck stops at your motherfucking desk. If I'm head coach, right, I'm responsible for who starts. You could be the GM and say whatever you want to say. But if you're going to tell me who starts, you're going to tell me over my resume after I fucking quit. Stand on business, people.
Yeah, but that's not to say that everything's not black and white either, because that's not to say that the head coach shouldn't have a say-so in who they draft at quarterback with the GM and all that. That's a conversation that needs to be had and stuff like that. It's not like they don't work together and things, but like you said, to simplify accountability and where to fix things when they go wrong, instead of thinking the whole ship is on fire, maybe just part of it is on fire. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to identify what is doing what.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you and your wife talk to your kids when you decide you're going to move or buy a car, right? Because they're involved. They're going to ride in the vehicle. But guess what? Ain't nobody going to come and be like, man, I was going to buy this car, but, my 8-year-old really wanted this freaking, we're not gonna promote brands, but this red sports car, so we bought that instead, and then blame the 8-year-old. Like, who makes decisions here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's make it make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make it make
Yeah,
sense.
because the little kid would be like, "Oh, I like the moonroof. Let's buy the car for the moonroof." And then you buy a car for a moonroof.
Right.
Don't even know the gas mileage.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. And you're like, man, my gas bill is crazy. I let my 8-year-old pick the car. Listen, they got input. Don't mean that they make the damn decision. Like, I care what you think, but you have a different motivation. Your whole thing is based on short term because that's all you have, right? You don't have long term because you're a coach in the NFL is not for long is what this
Not for
NFL stands
long.
for, right? So Raider Ryan makes a point. It's not even taking at the point that at that point where we were mathematically eliminated. So you sit your starters, you evaluate young talent like a good team does, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
perfect.
no,
Perfectly said, Ryan.
we're not.
Beautifully said.
We're not one of those teams, right? We're just gonna see what we have and be smart about it. No, come on, man. What you say, Raider Roy? Ticket prices $40 next year, thanks to Brady for nothing. Listen, it ain't over.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Oh, the tickets ain't never gonna be $40. You ain't gotta worry about that. They're gonna either be hella expensive or they're gonna be free with the Blue Man Group or with Cirque du Soleil or with the Usher review or whatever. It might be in that package, but they ain't gonna be $40. Not at Airbnb Stadium.
If they were $40, man, I would. See, I would inquire about those tickets right now. If that was me, I'd buy it.
$40 will get you a hot dog and a soda.
Yeah,
but it ain't gonna get you a ticket. So,
how much is parking? I'm scared to ask that. How much is parking?
Like $30.
Parking?
20, 30?
Easily, yeah. I think it's $35 or something to park.
How much?
I think it's like $35.
Oh,
I don't have to pay for parking. So shout out.
I know you don't, but I was just wondering how much it was. It never crossed my mind because that used to piss me off at the Coliseum too. But you got to go there. You want to go there and tailgate, so it's kind of worth it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the tailgate is like there. Is it tailgate? Do they tailgate in the parking lot?
So they got a couple different tailgate locations. Yeah, at some parking lots, but it's not like right on the stadium. They got one more across the street though.
So do the fans do their own tailgating?
Like
I ain't talking about where they. Yeah, I ain't talking about where they got sections. Huh? No,
it's not like that.
See,
Nothing was like Oakland, bro. Nothing in the league was like that, bro. That was
one of the best things, dude, because you could just walk down and the Raider Nation, the fans, man, is like one big family. And I will never forget all the times I've been there in Oakland. You just walk in the parking lot. They'd be like, "Hey, you hungry? Here's a hot dog. Here's a hamburger. Hey, you want a beer? Here's a beer." Like it was so cool, man. It was
man.
Awesome.
Trying all different kind of foods. You bring something that you made and like hook somebody else up, and yeah, man, people saving spots for each other. Like it was special.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
So y'all telling me that was only an Oakland thing for real? Because I gotta assume other stadiums did it. Maybe not everybody, but
the Bears. You see it outside of Chicago Stadium, right? A lot. I'm sure there's others, but no, we
like you said, you could just walk up. You could be wearing a Matuzak jersey. Somebody be like, "Oh, that's dope. Hey, you want some fucking brats? Hey, I got some beers." A whole fucking. I mean, like you act like they knew you.
Everybody family all of a sudden, right? That was different. Like you go other places and it's like if you don't know anybody, but like That was different. That
Yeah.
was special in Oakland. It will not be replicated, man.
And that's one
The family
thing that I
feeling where
was
you just walk
happy
around
to
like
be
that.
a part of.
People, you
Like,
just
I
like,
love
oh,
that, man.
you smelling trees. You're like, where's that smell? Let me go
Dude,
find
Hey, you
that.
hey,
ain't
You just go
lying.
sit down.
Hey,
hey, the last game I was on Mount Davis, bro, and this is back when I was burning, dude, and I would have blunts and I'd be on Mount Davis on the top, dude, and just kind of like
Burning the map.
smoking cigarettes, dude. I'm like, dude, nobody was saying nothing, dude, and
Nah,
don't
for
do that
what?
now because you might get kicked out in Vegas. But I'm just
For
saying,
real?
don't. Oh hell no,
hey,
bro. Don't.
For real?
Nope. Ain't no smoking inside that damn.
Yeah,
Said if you smoke
you know
anything,
what?
you gonna
I can
get
see
kicked the hell
that.
out.
I can see that. I can see that. Hey, but the funny thing is, like at the Oakland Coliseum, like when you walking over the ramp from the BART, or if you just walking from the stadium into the parking lot, you just see a haze over the whole parking lot. Just whether it's barbecue, smoke, it's just like like you said, you gotta. I guess you gotta be there. You gotta have experienced it. I didn't realize it was that special because I've done that so many times, like so many times.
Yeah, you don't get to do that everywhere. You don't get to do that
That's
everywhere. That
crazy.
tailgate experience was 100 tops in the league, bro. It was just different. Huge, always huge. It's a village that shows up. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get lost in there. You know what I'm saying? Tents and backup pickups and everybody. And the food was slamming. People was bringing like fire.
yeah,
Right?
you would
So,
get
yeah.
tore
It
up,
ain't
dude,
like
in the
that.
parking lot, and then you would just go in, man, and dude, it was great. It was great, man. Shout out to Pizzle, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat.
Shout out to the chat. Let's get caught up. VBZ says Brian Flores
I
is
ain't a
a
big
good
fan of
fit.
him.
I agree.
I might be the outcast here on this panel pertaining to Brian Flores. I ain't that high on him as others may be, but that's just me. You know what I mean? I just
No, we can hire him and then we can fire him after about 3 or 4 years. He just restores a mindset and a culture here. You know what I'm saying? It's not when I look at him as a coach, I'm not looking at results when it comes to him. I know he's going to bring a certain type of attitude like AP was trying to do, but it would be a real thing if he did it. It'll be a real thing, and then we'll see the results for real. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no more 4 and whatever, 3 and something, right? There, it's going to bring a level of like competitiveness, and we're right there. He's a builder, right? And so this is kind of my point with the Pete Carroll thing, right? Coaches, a lot of times, will fall into 3 categories.
you
As
suck,
far as I'm
you're good, or
concerned.
you're great.
You
No,
got
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
out of the ones that are good enough to keep their jobs. I think there's kind of 3 different categories, right? You have basically we'll call them, the greats, right? They can take a team from dust, build it into a contender, and then take that contender over the top and win the championship, right? You have then the builders, right? Those people can take a team from dust and build it to a contender, but they typically can't get over the hump and win the big games. And then you have the finishers. If you give them a crappy team, they're going to be crappy. But if you give them a team that's decent, they can take that decent team over the hump and win a championship. A lot of times, you finding a great is hard to do, right? And then greats get old. Greats to be too inexperienced sometimes, right? When you pick them, but for a little window, they can do the whole thing, right? I think it's not easy to find because you say like a Belichick is maybe a great, right? Obviously, like you take a team that's pretty crappy, make them into a mediocre team, take that mediocre team, make it into a 6-time world champion, right?
Yeah.
If we pick Pete, right, and he has a succession plan, then we can plan for that, right? Find yourself a finisher, right? And then it's easier to find the coach. It's hard to find greats. We know Pete can at least get us to being a decent team that is, a contender and in the mix.
Absolutely.
And if we can't get over the hump, then find a finisher.
Yeah, but my only thing about Pete Carroll is he coaches to the level of his talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that he like, because if he had the ability to, if he was a finisher, as you call it, I think he could have squeezed another Super Bowl out. You know what I'm saying? And he almost did. But I'm just saying, even in lieu of that, he should have still been able to squeeze another Super Bowl out. But I think he coached to the level of his talent, and I don't think we got the talent to compliment him. So that puts him in a win-win because we won't blame him, but at the same time, we are looking for somebody. If he has a successor in place, then somebody that we know that we like, then that's that longevity that we're talking about.
Tomorrow,
but
brother.
How often does that even happen in the NFL now?
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you.
Hold on, I just got to get that time out here. Pillaging just for fun. I am a tomorrow just like you, brother. And I saw your comment and it just made me just smile real big, man. So shout out to the people from Guam, man. Tuning in, man.
What's up with Guam?
Yeah, I got my tat of Guam here, man, on my shoulder here. Yeah, man, you know what I mean?
Go.
So, island pride, man.
Yeah. The people finding their tribe. What's up? Pillaging just for fun. That's what we do because we're fucking Raiders. Thanks for showing up, and I hope you want to subscribe to all of us and become part of the little family we got over here.
Thank you for tuning in, man. That made me smile so big, and I had like 1,000 words that was crammed in. You know, my head. I was trying to spit out, but I'm like, man, dude, salute, man, and salute to all the others and the chat too, man. I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate y'all being here.
For sure. Best chat. But you make a point there, like you say he coaches to the level of his talent. Okay, I can see some of that, but I do think that because he has a very clear idea about what he wants to do, he's able to get the most out of talent in a certain way too, right? There's certain guys, certain types of players that he knows he needs for a certain fit. And I think because he knows what that type is, you can go get a guy who doesn't do all this stuff, but he does this stuff. And that's good enough because it fits in his system, right? That sort of stuff, right? So there is a little bit of talent maximization just from having some order and understanding what he wants to do, right? And so part of the reason why Richard Sherman is great is because he played under Pete Carroll, right? If he gets drafted by the Raiders, he is a bust who then becomes a great corner on another team, right? Because we would have tried to play, put him in fucking, I don't know. We're gonna play matchup man and put him in the slot, right? So that's the kind of stuff we would do, right? We got some breaking news over here that we want to make sure we put out there. Right away says chat sports and somebody's D podcast don't know shit. Wow.
Thank you for the breaking news.
Thank you. Rick says Shador is all hype. You have to give me more than that because I looked at his tape and he looks like more than hype. What do you mean by all hype? Does this mean you think he's a 7th round pick and shouldn't be?
I hope Rick L is subscribed to your channel. Do you know Rick L? Do anybody know Rick L?
I've seen his name before.
Yeah.
Okay. Please hang around Rick L because regardless of if he goes to the Raiders or not, I promise you he is not all hype. I promise you he's not.
He is not. He's not. Definitely not. Very, graded him out, and Shador would have been just behind the first 2 quarterbacks taken last year if they were in the same draft.
So there's
and Hakeem Well, Cam would have been a little bit ahead of him, but
Aside
yeah.
from his comment, right? There's a lot of other Raider fans too, and reporters, analysts. They also believe that he's all hype. So, based on what I've seen, from his film and like all that, I don't really believe that he's all hype, right? I definitely have my pros and cons, right? But I see more pros with him than cons. I wouldn't throw in the white towel and say, nah, I don't want to get him, or anything like that, right? But I've said this in the past, my only thing on him and the is that he holds on to the ball too long, right? And he tries to play some hero ball, which Cam Ward does, too. But I get what you're saying, right? But I just don't completely see him as a all hype guy.
Yeah, I think he's more than all hype. One of these days, I'll complete one of these little draft bios for our quarterbacks, and we'll start to get those pumping out. We got the whole summer, but this coaching thing has been a bit of a time taker.
Yeah,
Figuring this out.
I've been so invested into our coaching search that I've kind of put my draft breakdowns and all that. It's
on the back
kind of
burner.
on the back burner, brewing right now. But I'm focused on the draft. I mean, sorry, the coaches for the draft. Pardon me.
What's up? What's up, son?
I just want to say this before we spin off Shador. Like, I'm not saying that he all world, but he not all hype, right? And so, like you just said, you gave a real objective because you're not Western, you're not the highest on him, but you ain't throwing him out the window either. Like you said, I see more pros and cons, right? So that tells me that he's not all hype, and I ain't gonna necessarily take that you mean literally all hype. Like he has sustainable skills. Like he really does have sustainable skills. Like I don't know why people are looking. I think every person that you hear say that about Shador, they're coming from an emotional standpoint. Like it's something about it's either I don't like because his daddy this, or because he didn't play in this. Whatever the emotional argument is, no matter what, he's already proven at every level. No matter where you put him in, he was the top tier of where he was. You know what I'm saying? You put him in on the SEC team, he's gonna play at that level. Like, come on, he's not like somebody like if like he's not able to get to that level. So I wouldn't say that he was all hype. I wouldn't call him all world, but let's not do him like that. Unless we just trying to make other people believe that and we drafted him at 6, then yeah, he all hype.
And then I just gotta say one final thing here. If we do get Sanders, right, as I said earlier, he would inject hope into our team from day one. He'd be like, "Oh shit, we got Sanders." Like oh shit. And
all right,
yeah,
so let's
man,
talk about it.
It's
we got 2 more. Let's talk about it, man. Let's just say it, okay? So, what was in the back of my mind this whole time? Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But sometimes when there's smoke, it's a fucking smoke screen.
I like where you're going with this. I like where you're going.
Where was everybody looking before this all started? Was there a certain combination of quarterbacks and coaches that were rumored to be pretty much locked in here?
I like how you threw that angle, and they're like, "That's perfect what you just did right now." I like it. I like it. Tell him.
I'm just saying. How does the nation feel if we wake up and Deion Sanders is the head coach and Eli Manning-esque draft things happen and he ends up putting on the Raider jersey, and we get Shiloh too, just because. Shout out to Shiloh, always the third one mentioned. But how y'all feel about that? What if there was the Deion, the Sanders, right?
Go ahead, Black.
Huh?
Go ahead,
I
brother.
mean, what?
What'd
Oh,
you say?
please. Go ahead.
What if we get a little Sanders?
You
Low
already
key.
know I
Yeah.
was a bro. Look, when I heard the possibility of it, and then Dion up there lying, talking about I'm comfortable right here in Colorado. I was like, oh, this fool lying. This all he always do this when he get ready to start moving around. I'm gonna pack my luggage. So I got Louis this time. I got Cartier luggage this time. So I'm like, okay, bro, whatever. I've
Yeah.
always just watched him. I've always watched Shador, period. You know what I'm saying? And like say, how can you go wrong under the tutelage of Deion Sanders, a person who used to read quarterbacks, right? But yeah, you're right. He never played quarterback. So what does he do? Go get the GOAT,
Tom
allegedly.
Brady.
You know what I'm saying? To help him be the best that he is, maximize his potential. Because it's obvious he doesn't have Deion's speed. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't play the same position. His kids, all of them kind of do different things. So he just helping them maximize their potential. I don't see nothing wrong with that. So if I see Shador going into a situation like the Raiders, he's gonna be the best player on the team because we suck. Like, I don't care what people say. But then if you put him in a position like he went to Detroit or something, then yeah, he need a learning curve. But then once he hit the curve, he'll be better than Jared Goff. Like, I don't understand like why we doing this to Shador. Like, I don't, because maybe y'all not watching them, not y'all, but people not watching them. People just thinking about the Sanders name and then assessing things with that. Are they actually watching him play? I don't understand
Right.
why
Is
the
this a
vitriol.
bias? Are you? Do you have a bias to like the idea of you know the fairness, right? People get a little iffy when you got a son with a coach. I know my dad was a head coach, and I used to play on his team, right? And so I recall how people would look at that situation and the feeling you get from people, right? That is something untoward, that about it, right? So we out of the way, right, to make sure that wasn't a perception. I never called him dad, right, ever around the team. Um, or Shiloh has that problem. He needs to stop doing that.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
Yeah.
yeah, you can't do that.
it's funny
And
you say
then
that because I never thought about it from that aspect. But I think they over that. You know what I'm saying? That coach's son stigma, especially Shiloh. I mean, not Shiloh, Shador. Now Shiloh might have a problem with it because he just because he's Dion's least favorite son anyway. So, but he's the one that's most liking. So that's the funniest thing. So they got that love hate. So I think he's doing it just out of spite. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's
Dion
a
already
message.
tell them I'm dad when it's game time. I mean, I'm dad before the
Yes,
game, and I'm coach when it's game
Coach
time. And
Prime.
he all right, dad. He gonna be like, all
Hmm.
right, dad. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I don't think they have an issue with that. And if they do, that's a them problem. That ain't no Shiloh problem. Shiloh got his head
Hmm.
on straight. That's the part I look at him first, not his physical attributes, which I like. Pause. But I'm just saying his mental awareness and how he approached the game. That's what you need from your quarterback. That's the difference between Lamar Jackson winning a championship and not. Is how he approaches the game.
Right. So
Ain't that the truth?
I'm
Yeah, my dad was harder on me than anybody else
yeah.
on the team, right? Period. 100%. It was clear, right? So I don't know. I think that's kind of typical. I don't know if anybody else has been, a coach's son and played on the team, but everyone I know that has their father was worse to them than anybody else. Higher expectations, harder punishment, quicker pulls, right? Um, that kind of
So
stuff. So
I just gotta say that I'll
to
chime
go
on
that
this
route.
here, but these comments are just killing me here on these comments. But so I see your guys' comments, and it's great comments, man. It's comedy, man. Some of the things you guys are saying right now. But so with the whole Neon thing, right? So if you were to ask me this yesterday, I would say that I don't think there would be no chance of Dion being our head coach, right? But since all the reporters and all the fingers pointing and Ben Johnson being our coach, right? That was all
Mm-hmm.
false and it was wrong. So that tells me that the Raiders insiders and all that, they don't even have an idea on what's going on with our head coaching search, right? And so now, saying all that, right? I could definitely see something to where Dion is a dark horse call, and we call him and we could offer him a job, right? And then I'm gonna just bring this back up too. You know, Dion said that his son won't play for a couple of teams, right? And I said, you know, before we came on here live, you know, I said, okay, well, the first two teams that I think of is, you know, the Titans and the Jags, right? And you know, Browns too. So that's actually three, you know, teams there. So I would not be shocked at all if we do get Dion or not. But somehow, you know, Sanders could pull an Eli card, right, and say, you know what, I don't want to play for these teams, and then he could fall to us. And I see Cam Ward going to the Giants unless they have a change of heart, right? But I would definitely not doubt the signing of Dion being a head coach. I feel more confident as of Pete Carroll kind of being there before Dion, right? But if like right now, if there was a text saying, "Hey, breaking news: Raiders signed Dion Sanders," right? I would not be that shocked at all. And I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, breaking news: Steve Carroll,
Steve Carell, for heck of the 40-year-old virgin, huh?
not Pete, but Steve. Just like we're getting Joe Gruden, guys.
You guys are killing me with these comments, man.
Uncle Ben, killing me. Fizzle's right. Raiders be blowing that smoke in every which
Yeah.
way. And
But to be fair, it's the off season, so they could blow
yeah,
right
man,
now.
we get to do our thing, bro. Like, don't trip. Right?
Yeah, Max Crosby blowing big. He be looking at Raider band show like, man, I don't know why this white boy be hating on me, man. We supposed to stick together. And he still hurt.
So yeah, man. You know, we'll see what happens. Uh, he says DC Burke of the Texans, another guy, Brian Burke. He is ready. Interesting. I lean towards offensive coordinators just because the continuity of being able to have the play caller stick with the team and not get hired out every couple of years. And because it's offensive league, but sometimes if you have a brilliant guy who can do the job and then you know, you can put together. I think at that point you probably want to get somebody who is an older offensive coordinator with experience and then has a system that has a lot of people that know it and underneath it. So even if he goes, you know, he can be replaced by somebody younger, or he just doesn't really have the motivation to just leave because he's already been there, done that, and just kind of wants to be a good coordinator, right? So that happens, you know. But yeah, this is interesting, right? Um, Going back, I wanted to look at this comment here. He said something about the about Shador, right? I thought it was a really good observation. Here we go, Rick. So Rick said, "My daughter graduated from CU. I watch all his games. He floats the ball way too much, and that won't work in the NFL."
I have a perfect thing for that, but I'll wait.
I hear you in the fact that there is a lot of touch throws that he's making. Um, I will argue that touch is a huge difference maker in the NFL, and that a lot of the quarterbacks that we see fail don't have touch, right? And I think his arm is strong enough to make all the throws, right, that need to be made. Is he going to throw a 60-yard, you know, piss missile across the field to the other hash between the corner and the safety to be cover two or whatever? No. When the ball has to travel 60 yards in the air, 40 yards up the field, 20 yards across it. No, probably not. But he'll probably hit that earlier, release the ball earlier, right, and arc it in there, and drop a dime, right. or maybe he extends that play and finds him in scramble drill, right? So not perfect, but has skills to answer the things that you know you would maybe worry about, right? So I think you look at a player in totality and like, does it all fit together? How does he succeed is the question, right? And I think he has the tools to do that, right? But this is a great observation, right? This tells me you watch games. Thank you, Ray.
So, hold on, real fast. So back to what he was saying. So I've said this in the past here too. So I'm gonna just bring this up one last time because I could relate somewhat to what he's saying. So
Mm-hmm.
my boss's son goes there. I believe this is his second year there or his third year there, and his son and my boss, they tell me about Sanders because his son has seen him on campus, play, games, all that stuff too, right? And the only bad things that I was told was like, yeah, he's great, you know what I mean? But the bad thing is that he could come off immature at sometimes, and he's kind of arrogant. And aside from that, from his son going there, and like how you just said, your kid was there too, right? Um, he plays a good game, right? And that's why I was saying that there's pros and cons, but I can also chime into what you're saying because my boss's son does go there, and he's seen him play on campus, all that jazz, right? But we all watch, the like tape on him, the film on him, right? We all have
Mm-hmm.
our takes on him, but as for me, um, being informed from my boss's son who's on the campus and seen him in person, right? And then having that being told to me, I don't, think that he'll pan out to be, like as bad or as hyped up as what or what you were saying, and what a lot of the other outlets and fans were saying towards Sanders too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that overdoing it one way or another direction is probably not making sense, right? Like, is he the best prospect I've ever seen? No. Is he, all hype? Absolutely not, right? Um, there are sometimes you have drafts where, you know, uh, the overall immediate talent level of the best players is not, freaking all world, but they have the things that come together that say that player can be successful, right? Like Jared Goff was, not a popular pick, right? And I kept saying like that dude can play quarterback in this league, right? Is he going to be the reason why you win a Super Bowl? Not necessarily, but he sure in the hell ain't gonna be the reason you lose it, and he's gonna make some plays. So, you know, does he require certain things in order to be successful? Yeah, like blocking. Um, and so we talked about that game, but there was, I don't know what happened to the line in that game.
Yeah, yeah, it was terrible. It was
Yeah.
bad, and you can't have one bad game, and you can't judge him off that bad game, and and that one game is how you see him for the whole overall aspect. You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to really say that Goff, is crap now because you know how the season turned out or whatever, right? Um, I don't think that you can just throw away, how he played for all the rest of those games, right? But
And if we had Sanders, you know what? I would be super happy. I'd be super happy on him, man. I would be more hyped for.
Now, see, I ain't saying I would be super
I
happy.
would, I would.
See, I ain't saying I would be
That's
super
just me
happy.
talking here, but I'd be more happier if we had Cam Ward, but I still would be happy if we had
And we had
Cam Ward.
who?
Now, right away, I'm not Colonel Sanders.
You really want Cam Ward, huh?
Yeah, he's
Like
he's he's my
you.
my top target. I have on that scope right now, man. I got him in the crosshairs. You know what I
So
mean?
okay. So all right. If I was Mark Davis and I'm like, I want to go with Shador. Tom wants to go with
Then
Shador.
then I
But Western, you got 2 minutes to tell me why we should go with Cam. What would you say?
well the tape speaks for itself. He has a good arm, accurate. He can run when he has to run. He moves outside of the pocket beautifully. I like the confidence that he has in himself. He came out and said straight up, "Hey, I'm better than Sanders." Like, he just came out and said that. But I just feel like he has a higher ceiling than Sanders, but Sanders is more ready out the box day one than Cam. But I feel like you can't go wrong with Cam. And if he was in last year's draft, I'd put him right after. And this is just me. I put him above Drake May and right after Jaden Daniels. I would have him at 3.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Drake May. Not my type of guy.
Hey, does he? Who has a higher football IQ out of Sanders and Cam Ward?
That's
In your opinion?
That's a great question. I would say Sanders.
Okay, and can Ward run into his left with accuracy?
Yes.
Okay.
I will say that
Uh,
I was listening to you and I was like, is he talking about Shador Sanders or is he talking about Cam Ward? So
What?
yeah,
I know, right?
they sound,
he was describing Shador.
but no, I do have.
But I do remember him saying that about Shador, that he was better than him. They was working out. I do remember that, and he was talking about he needs some water. He was like, "What you need some water for?" You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't drink water down here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might be a little more dog than Shador. So I can see what you're saying with that. He might be a little more dog than him.
Be like he a little more. He seemed like he's from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't had that silver spoon. That's all I'm saying.
I just have Cam Ward as 1A, Sanders as 1B. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
And I
That's
feel like
that's why they graded out too. So it's fair.
And if Ward ain't there, and if we had Sanders, I would be extremely happy because I would have more faith that he would inject our team with life and hope.
Yeah. If it's me, this would.
Hey, did Cam Ward grow up with his daddy?
I don't know. I think he probably didn't have a papa. More like
that's see that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say anything on that because I don't.
If Deion ain't the coach, we might need Cam Ward. We might need Cam Ward after all.
Like, we need niggas that's hungry. Okay.
Yeah, we need somebody.
We ain't niggas ain't got no papa. You got a pop condom. That's what you got. Okay. No papas but pop condoms. That's what that's the.
Yeah, because we don't need Deion on the sideline tweeting and hating it while Shador all mad when Cam Ward just gonna be like, man, just play ball, man. Like, because that's what we need. We need that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yo,
I'm
I just gotta give
a
quick shout out to Raider Chuan. If you guys have not seen his channel, go check him out, man. He makes good Raider content too, man.
Yes. Is he in the chat? What's up?
What's good, brother?
Yes. You are the dude. That man knows some football. That dude gives a crap. He's out there working hard. So please go subscribe to that man's channel.
Check him out, man.
He will deliver. He will deliver for you.
Great
Right?
takes. Yeah, some great takes.
No, I mean I'm just joking. I'm sure Cam Ward is has a great home. I'm sure his dad is a great father. Just joking around. So it's interesting because the two for me it would come down to an interview. Like I need to talk to these guys and get that feeling because there's like intangible stuff that's really going to be the main difference between these two players, right? And so could be really important that we have somebody like Brady in the room for that,
Yes.
right?
I just see us, having a higher chance of getting Sanders too, unless we trade, and try to go higher than the Giants pick. Because I feel like Cam Ward is a lock there at, the Giants, right? But I got a feeling since Deion came out, I was like, look, I don't want my son to play for these teams. I feel like, we got a better, chance of getting Sanders. And I would just be, happy because I feel like it would be a long time since we had a guy that we drafted who would just inject faith into our team like Jaden Daniels.
And just to like, okay, do I think Shore is a top 10 pick? Yes.
I agree.
Yes, he's a quarterback and good at that. So yeah, that's where they go.
So I know that there's a lot of people out there who are like, man, he ain't even worth, first round pick. He's a third round. He's a fourth round. I don't even see him going past the first round, honestly.
He's not.
He definitely will get drafted high, especially for a team who needs a quarterback. And you know why? Because they're going to throw that dart at the dartboard, and they're going to take a chance.
Yeah, they're going to bet on a guy who has pedigree, good athletic ability, who has accuracy, who's already shown that he can read complex defenses, right, and get to his backside reads and things like that on tape, and who has made countless like amazing plays against tough competition. So yeah, he's gonna get drafted, guys, in the first round and probably top 10.
If he don't, I'm about to say if he don't go top 10, somebody gonna get a steal. You think Jaden Daniels was a steal?
At 2.
Like Shador, the only thing that's hurting Shador in real life, the only thing that's hurting Shador, and that's why I believe that there is a God, because had he gave him 4-4 speed, you know what I'm saying? 4-3-5 speed. If he'd have gave Shador any kind of Deion speed, y'all would be talking about, oh man, he better than Lamar Jackson. Y'all would be saying that because he knows the game, that the part of the game that Lamar is learning. He already got that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why y'all say what y'all saying, because y'all see his physical is maxing out, which I could agree, but the body's a strange thing, because if you can keep pushing it beyond what you think you can go. So growing. We don't know. He might get with the right trainer, the right team, the right situation, and there'll be a steal after 10 as him as a quarterback. You think Jaden Daniels was a steal for sure. Shador be a steal.
He'd be a Mahomes level steal.
So I gotta say, and I got to be completely honest here, my boy who watches, before I heard of Sanders, right? My boy was like, yo, man, this dude George Sanders could ball. He's Deion Sanders' son. And the first question that I asked him was, is he fast like his dad? That's the first question that I asked. So yes, man, that is some truth. Because if he had some blazing speed like his dad, or like Jackson, or those guys who like to run fast, right? He would be top quarterback, locked in, first round. You know what I mean? All that, because Hot said it perfectly. I mean, I'm sorry, Black said it perfectly. You know what I mean? If he was just faster, then watch out now. Watch out.
Right. So Raquel says nepotism is a cancer on team sports. So I see your perspective here. I see where you're coming from and why you may feel a certain way about Shador. Okay.
D
Um,
Menace, salute, brother. Salute,
I will
brother.
say that Shador Sanders is not in the position he's in because of nepotism, right? Um, he's in the position he's in because he was given an opportunity because his father was famous. But finding an opportunity to play uh, football is not that hard. They find you wherever you are now, right? Um, so I don't think it's like there's nepotism that's a problem when it comes to coaching and scouting, big time. I think that's a bigger issue than players. I think from my experience, when you have a coach on a squad and one of their relatives is a player, they have a tougher time than an average player on the team, right? So I think there's like a real anti nepotism thingy that happens there in a way. What you got? What you got, Black?
I was a dumb jock. What's nepotism? Is that ain't that when your father or somebody gets you in, or favoritism or something
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm,
that? Okay, so if that is the case, right, I can see if we talking about fringe
mm-hmm,
players that you can see on the field and you'd be like, I don't know if he the best one of them on
mm-hmm,
a team.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? He only on the field because of his
mm-hmm.
daddy name. You know how many ex-players' sons is on the field and they all ball? All of them that you see. I'm talking about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I'm talking about everybody. All these kids are dope because they're dope. Now, Jerry Rice Jr., you don't see him out there. You want to know why? That would be nepotism if you did see him because he's not at that level yet. In football, they try to put the best players on the field, man. And if your daddy, that's what you look for in a player. Like, what is your pedigree? Was your mom a long jumper in high
Winner,
school and your daddy
she's
was
a
an NFL
swimmer. Yep.
player? You know what I'm saying? So you look for that kind of stuff because it's in your DNA.
Facts. So yeah,
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. There's so many players out
Many,
there that I'm like,
many of
damn,
them.
his daddy was dope. He
right.
dope. It don't always work like that, but when it does, it does. It ain't because of their name. It's because they're
Mm-hmm.
dope. Because when other kids was running cones, that kid was doing three a
Right.
days.
Right. Yeah.
NFL
Right.
three a days.
Yeah, guys. I hear the nepotism thing. That's something we always have to be aware of. Um, but I think you don't want to judge. You know, throw the baby out with the bathwater. I guess is the best way to to put it. Um, you know, we all want to see fairness, and we want a meritocracy, right, in football. And I think that the pressure to win makes that an almost like inevitability, right? Because if you do put players, relation to you ahead of their skill level, you're just gonna get fired. The game is too hard for that. You will lose your job real quick. So um, it kind of takes care of itself, right? So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about this whole Pete Carroll thing. Jared Gonzalez makes a very good point, and I want to say I second this. I lived up there. The cupboard was bare when Pete arrived in Seattle. They were not a good team. They drafted, they built from the beginning. He took them from dust to mediocre to Super Bowl winner to repeat Super Bowl participant and perennial, contender. So,
I agree.
you know, I think it cannot be really. You don't want to undersell what happened there, right? Um, and for a minute, they absolutely revolutionized the game of football with that defensive strategy.
Absolutely. And if we
They
get him
were
too, it would be one of the greatest head coaches that we ever had. One of the greatest head, one of the
Yeah.
greatest, and I ain't trying to be biased, or anything like that, but um, it's just the people who don't like Pete Carroll because of his age, right? You got to see the whole picture, the whole aspect of it, aside from his, age. And I understand we have our rights to opinions, and things, but I personally feel like um, he would make a difference there day one.
Yeah. 10 or 14 seasons as head coach. So
Shit, he better. It's Pete Carroll. He better.
I think he would come in there, chew his gum, and whip this team into shape.
No, I don't think it'd be immediate. He need a season. We'll win like 7 games.
Yeah, so I say that with I know that we'll win way more than 4 games. You know what I mean? I have a higher bar that I expect from Pete Carroll, and I feel like he would play to or have our team going at the team or at the rate that we expect him to coach as.
mhm.
So then, if we did get Ben Johnson, ain't that his name? Ben, what was that his
It was
name?
Ben.
Ben
Yeah.
Johnson.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah. So if we were to get him, how many wins would you expect him to get year one? Just hypothetically.
See, so I said this, earlier too. Like he's like a box of chocolates. We don't know what we're gonna get with him. I would have more faith in Pete Carroll having more wins in year one as him as a coach than Ben Johnson, and that's just me talking here. I definitely could see Ben Johnson getting more than 4 wins, but I wouldn't be as high on him as Pete Carroll, and that's just me. And I know that there's a lot of fans out there that are bummed, they're not happy because he and our coach, right? But I got to be real on both sides here. You know what I mean? I understand. He's the shiny new toy. He could be
Mhm.
the brand new young John Gruden, Sean
Okay.
Vay, the brand new coach, Andy Reid, right? So there's that, and then there's also Lions had a good team. They have a great O line. They have great talent there. It's not the same when you're going to the Lions to our team, right? And so I always try to be down to earth and see both sides of how things could be. And I just have a higher faith in Pete Carroll than Ben Johnson. And I know that's not
Yeah.
what a lot of people want to
He
hear. And
isn't.
I'm sure they're sitting there right now like this guy talking tripping, man. Ben Johnson, he's a mad scientist and all that.
Why I can't see the chat, man? I need to see
And
the chat.
I
Mhm.
understand it, but
Let me see.
we just don't know with Ben Johnson yet. You know what I mean? He could come here, we sign him to this great long big contract deal, right? And then he doesn't pan out to be what we expect to be.
Yeah. Pete Carroll has a higher floor, is what I would say. Right. I think the ceiling is the same, but Ben Johnson just his ceiling continues on. It's like a bigger arena, I guess, or whatever, right? Like he's younger, so he can keep coaching. It's not like one is, you know, like you win a Super Bowl, that's the ceiling. It doesn't really matter, right? Pete Carroll can win a Super Bowl. Can Ben Johnson? I don't know, possibly, but right. But his floor is also a complete flame out, right? We could be back here next year hiring a new coach. I don't think that's the case with Pete Carroll at all, right? And so there's some of that, right? So how much do we value just the stability of getting somebody like that instead of you know a Ben Johnson, right? Um,
And then I just have to, say too, so during the whole thing between Ben Johnson and Pete Carroll too, like I've done so much where I like to see how they talk with their team and how the players interact with them. And based from me, and this is me watching Pete Carroll, how he talks to the his players and all that,
mhm.
players buy into what he's selling. Like they really buy into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And players love him. They freaking love him, man. All the former Seahawks, former guys used to play at USC. Like they all have good things to like say, and I just like how what Pete Carroll brings to the table when he's talking to his guys, because he actually, on his words that he's saying, like he sells it
Yeah.
perfectly, and they buy into it.
You know, my only issue with that, because I don't have an issue with Pete Carroll for real, but my only issue, if I have one, is the fact that he's a player's coach, and we see how we act with player coaches, because really that was the demise of Pete Carroll in Seattle, because what happened is it became fractured because it was him, Russell Wilson, and then beast mode and everybody in him. You know what I'm saying? Then everything fell apart, and he rolled with Russell Wilson. So when you're a player's coach, it creates a divide. We was complaining about it in the locker room this year because, like I said, I never seen Max act like that, and we started throwing him under the boat. But now we want to trade him now. Like, that was never a thing. Like, just because we got this one player coach and we saw how we act when you had them gentle parenting. We don't need gentle parenting. We need that military whoop your ass if you don't sit at the table and turn that tablet off that.
Right.
Maybe somebody who's loud and takes charge and makes the media pay attention to them instead of the guys in the locker room. Do we have anybody as a candidate like that?
So I feel like, Pete Carroll could, if he had to be firm, right, with a team, he could definitely do that, but he won't do it like the hard ass coaches like Bill Belichick or those type of guys, right? And I recently watched something where Lindell White and Marshawn Lynch were on a podcast, and I believe it was Ryan Clark or Channing Crowder, asked him, he's like, hey, how was it like to be coached by Pete Carroll? And they both said, Pete Carroll he's a psychologist coach, to where he psychs guys up so well, and then they're all, look what he did with Geno Smith, like when he was a Jet, right? Like we all saw what happened to him, right? But then as soon as he went to the Seahawks, Pete Carroll, in his psychologist way, he sold him like dude, like you are a bad dude, and he performed way better, because I'll be honest with you,
he's a leader of men.
When he first went there, I didn't have any high hopes, on Geno going there. I was thinking like, okay, this is the Jet Geno. He's going to go over there. He's going to straight. But no,
that was one of his best coaches.
It ain't shit to do up there. That's why he was good. You know what? You just made me. I'm out on Pete Carroll now, because we don't need Phil Jackson. That ain't who the Raiders need. Like Pete Carroll is a good coach, and he probably could do that in Jacksonville. That'd probably be a good place for him, Jacksonville. He could do that with
Are you
Trevor
sure?
Lawrence and them. That probably would work well. But with the Raiders, the last thing you want to do is talk logic into somebody in Las Vegas, because there is no logic. And then they came from Oakland, so that's even worse. The logic is a little different. Pete Carroll logic is different. We do not need Phil Jackson. He made Brett look good because they in Washington. They don't do nothing but rain and drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool, and blow trees. So that's cool. I ain't mad at that. But Pete Carroll, no, we don't need Phil Jackson. Damn, okay. I want him. Yep, I'm out. It's a no for me, dog.
Hey, I respect that. You're like,
I love you too, bro. That, right? I love you, bro.
But Phil Jackson, I just gotta say, how many rings does Phil Jackson have with? And it was with two teams, right? I'm wearing this hat so proudly here.
We ain't got no Kobe. We ain't got no Jordan. We ain't got no Shaq. We ain't got no Pippen. We ain't got no Robin. We ain't got no Horace Grant.
So I get that, right? But if you have a chance to even get a Phil Jackson, the Zen master, coaching you, that's a blessing, man. And that's just me. You know what I mean? And so
let's not mix up analogies too much. Pete Carroll came to Seattle and they had nothing. That team was not good. They built that whole team.
He got 6 years.
So. Yeah. Okay. And how long did it take him to do that?
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
No.
Hey. So
No.
if I'm wrong here,
Wait. 2 or 3 years. So how many? What season did they go to the Super Bowl when he was with them?
I'm looking up the Seahawks stuff right now because I knew this was going.
and then I just gotta say too.
I know you
So
gonna fuck with it.
I believe now. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The worst season that Pete Carroll had in Seattle was like 9-7, right? Was
And the NFC West is garbage.
He coached them from 2010 to 2023. He was
So that's 13 seasons.
137 and 89. So on average, 10 wins a season or more, a little bit more, right?
I would love that.
10-9 in the postseason. Like they went to the playoffs 10 or 14 that he was there. And so let's look at the year by year stuff here.
I'm pretty sure that his worst coaching season there was when they were like 9-7. I don't believe he had worse than a 9-game season.
So when he first took over, they were actually 7-9.
Okay.
2010.
Okay.
Okay. When they go to what year they went to the Super Bowl?
Let's see. So 2010, he takes over. Let me just look at this. And then, yeah, he was on the all-decade team for 2010s for the NFL. So let's see. So Super Bowl. Trying to get years here. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah. Chat, we've been here almost 2 hours now. Make sure you hit them likes, like
please hit the like button. Please do that. Because then other people see it. Okay. He was also vice president.
So they won in 2014. They won in 2014, right? So 4 seasons. That's not bad.
Dude, he's a great coach.
That's not
He
bad.
is a great coach.
Yeah, how old was he in 2014? That's 10 years ago. How old is he now?
He's 73 right now.
Yeah. He's 151. So.
We're going to have Joe Biden. He's going to be calling past players when we should be
Listen,
fact here. He is younger than the past 2 presidents that were in term. And he's in a lot better shape than a lot of older coaches in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's in great shape. Like, I swear to God, Pete Carroll's running a 5K right now.
Physically.
Right?
He
is doing push-ups or something.
Yeah, Biden can walk down the stairs if he can find them.
Right. Pete is like...
He'll physically walk down them if he can get down them. Hey, speaking of that, here's a fun fact. Did y'all notice usually they walk down the stairs in an inauguration, but they didn't because of Biden this year? Y'all didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Because they didn't want to see Humpty Dumpty tumbling down the damn stairs. That would have been the funniest shit.
Didn't Trump fall down the stairs though too? Old ass motherfuckers, man.
Well,
he did.
Know.
We got to stop with the whole. We got to stop with
chat. This is not a politics show. I just want to be clear. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not a politics show.
Man, it's an inauguration. We can't talk. I can't bring up Trump on the inauguration day either.
I just got to tell the chat because some people might veer way left or way right. You know what I mean? So I just got to make it clear, that we're not a politics channel.
BBZ says
oh man.
Prime's private social media done by Junior.
He took his screen off.
Was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm going to talk through it as if it didn't happen. The Raiders thrive on YouTube. This is Grand Slam for both sides. Mark is about that money over winning anyway, so this whole Prime thing makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Davis really liked the idea of Dion as the head coach. That would not be surprising.
I've said this in the past. If Dion comes, it's a box office hit, smashing. It's a box office hit. We will get more primetime games than we've had in so long, dude. Just a lot of income coming. It'll be a lot of money.
We better win them primetime games.
In fact,
Prime internet presence, coupled with the Raiders' internet presence, is out of here. It's global story at this point. Vegas is international. This is true. This is true. Look at V on a roll. Got some things he has to say.
yeah, let's bang
Got
out
some
these
points.
chats, brother.
And then let's see what we got. They said the same thing about Marino, about his arrogance.
All great players have some kind of attitude or arrogance.
You cannot be the leader of a football team and not have some jerk to you. Straight up. Because you ain't gonna please everybody. So sometimes you just don't care, right? He said he was arrogant. Marino's arrogant. Shador puts in the work. He does. He's the right pick for us. So VBZ is on the Shador train. All right. Operation Draft Shador starts today. Okay.
Man, we gotta get a coach first. we gotta get a coach first. Gotta learn to bag the weed up, then get money.
Rick L says Shador is a good kid. I just hope people don't expect too much from him. He could be another Bo Nix. What is wrong with Bo Nix?
Man, he better than Bo Nix.
What's wrong with Bo Nix?
Nothing wrong with Bo Nix at all. There's
but he better than Bo Nix, man.
Although Bo Nix probably has a little bit stronger arm, I think that he just has overall better football feely stuff, right? And definitely like the elusiveness and the ability to throw accurately on the run is like high level stuff. He's not as fast as some of the other guys, but boy, he's very hard to tackle. All right. So yeah, thanks for the piece there. It says my boys beat the Warriors by 40 tonight. Some town business getting handled up there, huh? 40.
Oh, hold on, Pizzo, my nizzle. Pizzo. I've never bumped heads with you about anything, and tonight is the night.
You a Celtics fan?
Pizzo.
Hey.
It's okay as long as we got one more championship. As long as we got a championship head to head on y'all. Cool. Y'all can have the 40-piece nuggets. Them $5.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I strongly dislike the Boston Celtics. So
Draymond didn't even play tonight.
Yeah, Pizzle, you lost all kind of points.
We know y'all scared of Draymond,
right, man? Celtics? Why? No.
That damn
Celtics.
So I just want to go on their half court and spit on that leprechaun.
Celtics versus Lakers.
No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just fucking with you. But I do hate the Boston Celtics. I strongly dislike the Celtics.
Yeah, F them Celtics. Anyway, if we're talking about these quarterbacks, right? He's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
hey, I like that.
We're trying to catch up here. Rick says Cam Ward is good. He just needs to stay away from the buffet in Vegas. He came into college a little heavy and got in shape. Ward has a better arm than Shador. See, Rick, you watch football. I see this. Absolutely. He also needs to stay away from the poker tables or whatever, all of it, because that dude will put it all on black. He has a problem with hero plays.
What's wrong with putting it on black?
Hey.
Hey, now, Rick said something smart here, and then he said Shador is all hype. So now,
I think
what
he's
is
off
it?
the Shador.
So
I think he was being hyperbolic.
I think he just like Ward.
Yeah, he's being hyperbolic about the all hype thing. I think he has a thing about the nepotism issue, and feeling like fairness matters.
He like Ward.
So there you go. But
he got a comprehensive reason, but the reason is he like Ward.
He did have a great season in Miami. This is true. Ward had a tough childhood. Yes, he did. He did not come up rich.
Hey, shout out to Ward's dad too, because we found out
shout out to his dad.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
His dad and mom, I think, went to every single
Okay,
game.
now who had the tougher childhood? Yeah, now they both had their parents, except for Dion was not really kind of with his mom, but he's still Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
So Cam might be he might got a little bit more intestinal for it too, but I don't know. I just think that Shador got like season 2.5 IQ
Right.
already going into the game, where these quarterbacks that we talking about that we say that can physically do these things, it's going to take them like 3 seasons before you see them doing it, or 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm thinking that if Shador can hold up physically, then we'll see it for sure. And I think he will. I think he will hold up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just everybody else just joking about the Ward thing. Like, I try to make that clear. His parents are awesome. They went to every single game. Right. But yeah, this is a take, and I think it needs to be talked about. Will we be in position to draft Ward or Sanders unless we move up?
Ward will be gone unless the Giants don't draft him, and if we do want Ward, we're gonna have to trade up and got to take that pick from the Giants or go higher. Sanders, that's more realistic to me because Dion don't want his kid to play for certain teams. So
salute to the boy D Menace, one of the best out there. Always here to support. Always a part of the little family here. So awesome, right? Yes, and then of course, shout out because you know about that boy Twan, right? Because real recognize real. That's how that works. Shador will be a steal at 6. I would be grateful and surprised if he was still on the board at 6. Only reason he'll be on the board at 6 is because Dion did it. That's all I have to say. So possible, right? It's a Dion thing, right?
I would be grateful too. I would be grateful.
Yes, if we didn't have to trade up because Dion did his little magical stuff,
that would be.
Boy, ain't going there because
poetry in motion right there.
We going back to the school. That boy, we gonna play in Canada for a year. You don't know, right? Let's see. Twan got something to say. He says Shador is a top pick because he played beyond nepotism. The pressure is real for him, and he has excelled. Exactly.
I agree.
That pressure is real. Great.
Yep. Because he does have that pressure because he's Deion Sanders' son, and all lights are on him. They're watching him.
For sure.
All
you got a standing invitation to come on the show anytime. So all you got to do is show up, and we'll send you the link. You can come on right now.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
So where do I says I'm suffering from Raider PTSD for sure. That's fair. We all in that.
Yeah, man. F. Ben Johnson, man.
Why not Pete Carroll? I heard he has silver and black Walker.
Don't forget, he has the 2 tennis balls right on the bottom of the Walker. So
1 silver, 1 black.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's go. Mike Martz was a mad scientist. Things don't always work out the way you might think. Time will tell him, Ben Johnson.
That's facts. Mike, yep, because he
was. North Turner was a mad scientist too.
Thank you. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I mean, we've been here for over 2 hours, guys.
Pete sells competition every day, all day. Everything they do will be about competing.
Facts.
This is true. This is absolutely true. Pete fosters an environment where, the cream rises to the top. It does not matter where you were drafted, all that good stuff. Like
because he'll start the best player for the team.
It doesn't matter if he just spent a bunch of money on a free agent quarterback. He will start the guy he drafted if he's better, right? And we watched him do that with Russell Wilson, right? I heard Pete is blasting YMCA at practice.
Stop it.
Max wants out right now just because Pete's coming. I think Max and Pete would be. Are you kidding me? Two peas in a pod. See,
Oh,
like
yep.
they're both these like
Beautiful.
mental, strength kind of people. So I think they would definitely click. Honestly,
Absolutely, I agree.
VBZ says Michael Pratt. Michael Pratt was a draft pick that was eligible last season. I don't know where he ended up going, but he was in the top 10 of my quarterback rating last year. He's one of those guys who will get better over time because he's a cerebral guy, right? He's got a little bit of physical ability. He can scramble some, right? Arm is pretty okay. Not great, but okay. So interesting. Michael Pratt is an interesting player.
I didn't even have him that high on my board, honestly. But
Last year.
yeah,
David King says so much for all that Tom Brady hype. Van Johnson was offered 90 million.
shout out to Dave
Still didn't
King
wanna go.
Raiders, man. Always dropping them bombs and then people's elbows, man. Yeah, man. F Ben Johnson, man. F Ben Johnson.
Oh, it looks like we lost our boy. He'll come back in on the other side. Hold on, we got him. There we go. Yeah, like Ben Johnson, man. I don't know.
Yo, man. F Ben Johnson.
Juan said, sign Carroll, Rivera, and Arians.
Oh, that would be
the grumpy old men.
That would be that and Space Cowboys 2.0. All them old dudes right there. Space Cowboys Part 2, 2.0. All them old
Man,
dudes.
if that does happen, young assistants out there, this is the place to be because you just wait for somebody to age out and then you get their job.
Okay. Absolutely.
It says Mark said, "Who needs Jaden?" He brought in Stormy. We're moving on. I'm not gonna talk about that. Raider Allegiance.
What's up, brother, man?
What's up?
Check out his channel, y'all. He does some cool stuff too, man. Hey, shout out, brother.
Thank you. I feel good about the fact that we got some real ones up here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That means something. So thank you, everybody. Decided to show up and support this. You could be anywhere, and you chose to be here. So jokes Absolutely. On you.
There's a lot of podcasts out there right now, and you're here with us, man. So thank you so much.
Shit, you'd be wasting your time if you was somewhere else.
Yeah, you might be somewhere else.
You be hearing all that weird shenanigans. I'm gonna call it. Like, this is the real right here.
Yeah, I think we trying to keep it as real as it's gonna ever be. So we caught up with the chat, so that's good. I wanted to do that.
So you want to do some picks for the game before we jam out of here?
Yeah, I want to say one thing about the quarterback situation. There will be quarterbacks that emerge as we get closer.
Absolutely.
Not just already, I feel like Will Howard is somebody we need to keep an eye on, nation. Do your homework on Will Howard. See what you see.
Listen to the nerds.
I saw him tonight. I saw what I wanted to see.
What did you see?
I was like, he cool, but we don't need him. We don't need no running quarterback, like no quarterback that think that's an option. Like, we do need like an AOC, God forbid I say this, an AOC back there looking at what's going on type quarterback that can run. Not a quarterback that they gonna be calling a quarterback draw plays for every now and then. Nah, we don't need that. We do not, because that's complicated to win like that, and we're not smart enough to do that. Like, if we had Ben Johnson, then I can entertain it. You know what I'm saying? I can entertain it, but other than that, nah. We traditionally gonna run the ball like we say we gonna. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was AP. We don't know what we doing now. So let me just put a thumbnail right there. Then, but all I'm saying is I think that's too complicated. I think we just need a drop back quarterback, read down the field quarterback, and then just let our best players make the plays. That's it.
See, I would say Will Howard is that first. He just happens to have some mobility.
And that's what I would like to have in our freaking quarterback. Like, not him to be necessarily a statue, right? But somebody who can move when he has to move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if they can temper that and not make that a focal part, like make him Jalen. Well, I guess Jalen not even like that no more.
To me, Will Howard,
That's
from
why I
what
don't
I can
like
see, is somewhere in between Justin Herbert and Josh Allen.
Oh, damn. Why would you say Justin Herbert?
Because
That's
I'm
the
being
part I
real,
don't
man.
like.
He could
That's
be
the part I
Justin
don't like.
Herbert.
That's the
Right?
part I don't like about him. Then
Say Joe Burrow.
You know, he could be Mr. Safety safe for all we know, right? Because Ohio State makes it easy to be safety safe guy and win a championship, right? Or he could be Josh Allen. I don't know how risky this dude is. He might be throwing balls into the.
how tall
know.
is he?
He's a 6'4" and something.
Oh, tall dude. I'll just say this here.
Something.
Okay.
I'll just say this.
I'll reserve the right. I'll keep him on the board.
Don't be shocked if during the combine, right, some quarterbacks are gonna wow some teams and some GMs, and aside from Sanders and Ward, right, there might be some others that might shoot up in our eyesight, man. You know what I mean? And
the combine does that for y'all. The combine don't do that for me.
No,
Senior
I'm
Bowl.
saying just all the people there, scouts, for like teams and stuff, they might just wow a team like Anthony Richardson, type, you know what I mean? Where they're like,
Jackson Dart will be at the Senior Bowl. We'll get to see him throw against really tough competition again, right? See how he takes coaching, right? See how he responds to that sort of stuff. Get an idea of how people feel about him when they're around him, that sort of thing. And so we'll get some of that. I don't know what Will Howard's going to do, right? But a lot of times Senior Bowl puts some clarity on players, right? Especially if they play at lower competition. We can see them play against high competition and see if they still dominate. I think the combine does matter for some players, right? Like there are some questions. If Shador runs a 4.8, it's different than if he runs a 4.65. Right?
I just want to say back to the combine real quick, right? Look what JJ McCarthy did last year. Like nobody had him, going, that high. But then he razzled and dazzled, some guys some people at the combine, right? And the Vikings thought highly of him, and he sold himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got hurt.
Well, what am I being too nice about
But I agree. No, I agree with you though, because I was gonna say like the only thing I want to see in the combine, and it does matter for some players. I was being hyperbolic as it was that it don't mean nothing. I didn't say it didn't mean nothing. I was like that changes your mind on some things. But yeah, I want to know if he run a 4.6 or a 4.7 or a 4.5 because yeah, that kind of matters. It don't matter as far as me drafting him, but it's just something to know. So he probably better off doing like his dad and don't run the 40 either. Like people gonna draft Shador where they gonna draft. They're not gonna make their mind up at the combine.
Listen, this is the thing. Shador knows what he runs. Okay, Shador, if you run something that's a 4.6-ish, run. Yeah. Run and prove it, because then teams will be like, "Damn, he actually,
wheels.
You got little wheels there." Because 4.6 for a quarterback, you could do some things. If you run anything higher than a 4.65, do not run.
Yeah,
do not run. Which I think ain't no Connell run.
Pete
Carroll. I ain't gonna do him like that.
Pete Carroll runs faster than him. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? I know, right? That might be true. That might be true.
I'm just
that might be true.
He probably Pete Carroll probably travel better than he do still. I've seen him in them practices playing scout quarterback. He was out there.
He probably can throw it. He probably can read it. Never mind. Anyway, what we going with the playoff game? Because I want to get to the game I was right about.
So I just want to say here, props to you for picking the Washington football team for beating you. Hey, you called it, brother, and I give you, you're like props with that, and I was wrong, and I'll come out and I always say when I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I was wrong on that pick, and you were the only person who picked them, so I give you, you're like props on that, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I
It
will
was about
say
time I got something right.
major props on that, and I will say, if it weren't for the refs, I think that my prediction would have came true. But we'll move on.
The refs, what the refs do? You talking about the refs?
They was
I'll
very
just
cheeky.
say one call that I didn't like in that Chiefs game was the helmet to helmet contact, play. Like, man, like I won't go, on and on about it, but I'll just say, it's hard to beat the Chiefs and the refs at the same time. So I'll just say that.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hey,
So,
you okay? We'll go with that.
yeah.
Because I'm not about to argue with no Raider fan about no damn Chiefs. That's what I ain't about to do.
All right. So we got the Commanders versus the Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
now I'm gonna go last.
Okay, I'll make this simple. My pick to go to the big dance, the Super Bowl, was the Ravens and the Eagles. I was wrong about the Ravens too, so but the Eagles are still my favorite to go for the side of the NFC. So I'm going with the Eagles.
My logical brain tells me the Eagles should win this game. But there is just something in my gut about this freaking Commanders and Jaden Daniels. They got
Come on. Because you already know where I'm about to go with it.
Yeah. Hey, that's what happens when you draft a guy like a Jaden Daniels. It hypes the whole team up, dude. And that guy's playing some ball, dude. So I can't take anything away from him. He's balling,
it ain't
man.
over. The party ain't over. Because that's not a flash in the pan thing that they doing. You know what I'm saying? They put up them points every week. They do. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And the Eagles limped into that win last week. And they couldn't even throw the ball with your boy because he was concussed out there while they were trying to hide it. So that way they don't question it for this next coming game.
Mm-hmm.
But we ain't gonna talk about that. Y'all can limp in here if y'all want to. I'm telling you, the Redskins gonna win that game. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's a blizzard. I don't care what it is. They gonna lose. I ain't saying it's gonna be by much. It might be by a field goal by that kicker that with the ritual or whatever. I don't know. But it's they're gonna win. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it feels like something. This is not over. Like the story not over.
Not.
Damn, bro, he's selling you hot. Just take it.
No, he already.
I was already on this, bro. I was already on this. I can feel it. It's just a feeling, man. Like they got that.
They got that it.
No, hey, so they're a great team, man. They are a fun team to watch, man. Like Jaden Daniels is super nice.
Super nice.
But it's not just him though. It's the whole thing. You win championships from the top down, not the player up. Because that defensive coordinator, they outsmarted Detroit. I'm sorry. That's what happened.
This is where I come in here and say I don't think that they're going to do that to the Eagles defense, bro. Like,
so that's the question, right? That is the question. That is the one glaring question, right? Can you do that to their defense, right? Defense. Right, against the Eagles defense, right? That's the question.
And I think the answer is Jaden Daniels says, yes, I can, because I'm that man. Like he's that
and
good.
He's already did it against them. They're even when they played. I think they 1-1. Mm-hmm. So and they're a conference team. So he got action. All he got to do is show up, focus like he's been showing up, and I don't see why they can't do it because what it might come down to is this. It might not come down to the Eagles defense. It might come down to the Eagles offense or the lack of offense because Hurts is hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because he stumbled into this
Saquon Barkley
Barkley's gonna look.
That's what they need to stop.
I see
But what
Barkley.
happens if they do stop the run?
Hey, I see Barkley doing some crazy runs. I see tush push. I see deep passes to Brown and Devontae Smith. I look. I ain't trying to be. Look, I just feel like on offense, the Eagles got a really good offense too, and their defense. I just feel like on that's look just being on both sides of the Eagles offense and the defense. I just feel like they're just better than the Redskins. Sorry,
like I said, my brain, the paper say Eagles should win.
So I'm going with Eagles, and I'm gonna bow
Eagles not putting up 28 points and I think that Redskins gonna put up at least 31. So I'm that's just the way I see it. I don't know how it plays out, but it plays out like that.
Like I say, 31-24 Commanders. Okay.
I'm saying 31-28.
So we got two on Washington, and I'm the outcast here with the Eagles. So
you are the only one predicting the favorite.
Right, that's crazy work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they did just beat the number one seed that everybody thought was going to win the Super Bowl with the number one offensive coordinator, head coaching job, and the number one defensive coordinator job. That's why Campbell was crying, because his team got gutted and their window just got closed. He about to start getting beat by his own protege. Watch.
Chicago, that's brutal. That's brutal. I will say that because Chicago picked him, he's probably going to fail. So, just saying. Anyway,
the Rams was laying hat to the Eagles. Okay. They was giving it to them.
Mm-hmm. So, but who won the game? Okay, I'll just
barely.
Okay. I'll just a win is a win. I don't care how pretty it is.
You're right. You're right.
A win is a win.
You're right.
And then for the Chiefs, look, I'm gonna make this simple. I'm going with the Bills.
Wow.
Who they play? Who they play? The Chiefs?
They play the Chiefs, yeah.
F the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs are at home, right?
I ain't being biased either.
Yes.
You know, I just
okay.
I'm going with the Bills.
Oh, so Pat Mahomes will be in the Super Bowl again. The referees will make sure of that. Who will win the game? The actual game will be the Bills are the better team. Who actually wins at the end? Oh, it's gonna be the Chiefs. They going to the Super Bowl. So yes, Chiefs 100%. I watched that game. There was no chance they letting them lose.
You know who we ain't seen in a while? We ain't seen that boy Patrick Mahomes day. He's talking about smoking on Joe Burrow. I'm talking about Joe Burrow. Who's smoking on Josh Allen? We smoking on Josh Allen. Who's smoking on Josh Allen too? We MVP pack. I'm going with Kansas City too. I hate to say it, but man, they not playing, man. They're not playing. They win every kind of way. It don't matter. And people, it's so ugly that people are blaming it on the refs. So
if this was Baltimore, I would say they have a chance. But like Josh Allen doesn't play well.
No. Josh Allen got the best chance to beat them, though.
Do they? They always lose.
Aside from
they do. But that's why they got the best chance. Statistically, they got to win one.
I just don't see the Chiefs hitting on all cylinders on offense like they are. Like
they just get rough in the passer when they don't hit on.
There you go. There you go.
No, right. But I just feel like I know that when the Bills play the Chiefs, it's like when Jordan played the Pistons, right? So I feel like this is the time that
he breaks through.
Their Bills
so they didn't earn it?
Do it this time.
So they didn't earn the Jordan. It's funny that you said that, because I said that. I said it's like the Jordan rules. They should get the Jordan rule. They earned it. But if we took that out of it, I guess we're going to ignore the fact that Travis Kelce was just running up and down the field like it was 7-on-6.
They might have wanted to put somebody on Travis Kelce.
They might want to put two people on him.
Like you might want to put some. Yeah, that's the thing. You might want to look into.
Yeah. So look, I'll just say this one last thing here.
Yeah, they got Cameron Clark up there now. What the hell's going on?
I feel like the Bills got a good defense. Their offense could put up points, and I'm gonna just bow out with that, and that's why my pick is gonna be the Bills. So chat, Pat, I mean, all you guys watching, I am the
He
outcast.
talking about me. He must be talking about me.
No, he talking about this man right here. Talking about they gonna lose.
I am the outcast.
I'm probably gonna be rooting for the Bills, but I know KC gonna win.
I'm gonna be rooting for the Bills. I'm gonna be like, please, Josh, you can do it this time. Just run over a nigga.
Yeah, come on, Josh Allen, MVP.
Right?
You know that's who they're gonna give it to.
Listen, the Bills had one penalty in that game against Baltimore. That's all I have to say. One.
Who?
The whole Bills team had one penalty in the whole game against Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore kind of killed them.
Baltimore made their own bed with the fumbles. Mark Andrews, we all watched the game, right? But it is what it is. It's done. So there's so much shoulda, coulda, you know what I mean? But
so let me ask you this, bro. Even as a quarterback, bro, and play receiver. Now let me preface my statement before I say what I'm about to say. That he still should have caught it because he's a professional. Like I get that, but let's also remember that he's a human being too, and there's human elements involved in catching balls all the time. You got to go through this process. Now, when he was rolling out to the right and he double pumped it like that, I promise you that threw him off.
Yeah.
I promise you that threw him off because he started already leaning and falling, and then now you got to kind of recalibrate, right? And so that's why it was the juggle aspect of the whole thing, because if he would have threw it the first time when he was really still open, instead of second guessing himself, because I was wondering, was he going to run it or was he going to throw it? And I guess he saw the dude coming around the edge and he decided to throw it. I don't know what he was doing, but I just know when you double pump the ball like that, that throws your receiver off, because it's used to throw off a defender. Like if you was running up the field and you do the pump fake, it makes them freeze at least, or maybe jump or something. It makes the brain react. You know what I'm saying? And it did the same thing to Edwards, and it just was terrible things for it to happen. But he a professional, he still should have caught it. But I'm saying that it's just that micro thing that's the difference between winning games or going to overtime in this case.
So I'm
the Chiefs are weak, man. You're right. One of these years they'll play a good team.
You know who? Brock Bowers would have caught that ball. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
He's Brock Bowers.
Okay.
He catches everything.
And then I just got to go back to this guy's comment, because I'm wondering if that's aimed at me, where it says this guy clearly has not seen the Chiefs games. So
I think so. Yeah, that's you.
Okay. Well,
he's saying like they cheat, man.
But remember when
So is that towards me?
That's you, because they cheat. He's saying you're talking about the Bills gonna win this game. How?
But he just so he has that comment, right? But then he followed up with Chiefs are weak. They just need to play a good team with offense and defense. Do the Bills not have a good offense and a good defense?
They do.
He's contradicting himself there, right? But for you to say that I don't watch the Chiefs game, man, you're about to get a people's elbow, bro. I'm about to get the elbow pad and throw it off, man. Do like this, bro.
He said, "Do you smell?"
Oh, no. You would not cut Andrews for dropping that pass, man.
Nah. Look. You don't cut him. You know what I mean? But look, we have a different take on that. I felt like it was something that he could have caught.
I've seen Bowers drop passes before.
No, you haven't. Not in the pros.
I'm talking about in the hands. You ain't never seen him drop a ball in the hands?
In the pros?
Yeah, in the pros.
I think he had 1 or 2 drops the whole season.
Brock Bowers would have caught that.
I don't care. I'm talking about I've seen him drop one in his hands, like right here. Like any pro would catch it. That's what I'm saying. So to say Brock Bowers would catch it, sure. Any NFL tight end would probably catch that. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a human element that shit happens, and that was it.
Well, that was the wrong time for fucking shit to fucking happen for him.
I agree. I agree.
but to Andrew's defense, right? To his defense, the fumbles hurt that, too. So you can't blame it all on Mark Andrews. So that's all, I'll
Yeah,
say.
those players who put the ball on the ground. Who put the ball on the ground for Baltimore?
Yeah, we know Lamar did.
Lamar did once, right? Was it Henry too, or
It was Andrews.
oh, it was Andrews? Yeah, he had a bad game.
Oh yeah, he had a bad game. You can't put the ball on the ground then drop the ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, off with his head. I say.
We changed our mind.
You gotta go. You're right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did get stripped up.
That's true.
He did get stripped up.
Like cold stripped. Too.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
did.
he
He got robbed. They
just
took his
take the
cookie.
ball from you like that?
Right, he was trying to juke somebody else and got robbed.
Because he said this nigga cost him they cost the game everything. Kick him out of town and give the fans the blood they looking for. That's right.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I could not be a just leader.
Good job.
Without hearing from the
Good job, Chad. See, you changed his whole outlook on it.
See, I'm fair.
Sounds crazy sometimes, but he got reasons.
Yeah.
He got reasons. Man, so we got
that is one of the few rare times that I've seen someone changes, outlook on that. So you just got a, trophy. You just unlocked a trophy. You know what I mean? Like, good shit.
Shoot, I did it twice a day. I don't want Pete Carroll as the coach now.
Yeah, he's psychologicals.
Yeah, it must be the greenery that we had today because it got my mind open. We smoking that ivory. We smoking this during
Hey,
expensive.
Put it down and think with the chart and not your heart. Okay.
Listen,
I keep trying to tell you, you can't say chart without heart.
Listen, guys. We're focusing on Pete Carroll and maybe a Dion, but let's not forget there's still one more.
That's my guy. Like if I had to put my chips on somebody, that's what. If he walk in the casino, if he walk in any part, he can say he going to the bathroom, to the buffet. If he walk anywhere in the casino, I'm gonna be like, I'll put my money on him. You know who I'm talking about?
There's only one guy that we're not really giving enough to, right? Enough credit, thoughts, right? It's a Mr. John Gruden.
Don't pull up Ron Rivera. Don't.
I almost did just to mess with you guys, but no.
Don't pull up
It's
Ron
John Gruden. He's out there, just lingering, like the one that girlfriend that you just keep coming back to.
Oh, Gruden?
Yeah, you break up like 3 times, but you still like her. She still like you. You date other people, but there's a gravity to it. People be like, man, y'all bad for each other. You be like, why? We do good when we together. You know what I'm saying? She spent too much money, but
players love him. He knows football in and out, right? You know what I mean? So if we were to get him, I would I don't understand why people would hate on it, right? But it's just my whole outlook on that is if we it's just I just don't understand the fact where fans think that he'll come back and coach for free. Like we don't got to pay him again just because it's unfinished business, right? That's not how things work. So he ain't gonna come here and just coach for free. You know what I mean? I don't care how much Mark Davis likes him and all that, but if that's the case, and we I would rather have John Gruden back than primetime Deion Sanders. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
And
quickly before we get out of here, let's rank. Have everybody do rankings for their quarterback. Coach.
Pete Carroll number 1.
Right. So you got Pete Carroll number 1. Who's number 2?
I would go Gruden and then Deion.
Okay. Black, what you got? We can't hear you. You got a ranking for the coach situation, Black?
No, I'm over here listening to this hypothetical. But I thought we was doing the teams and shit. But what the quarterback rankings? Is that what you asking?
No, coaches, because we already picked the 2 games. There's only 2 games.
Oh, damn! It's only 2 games. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the coaching rankings. I don't know, man. We used to talk about John Gruden. Imagine if we didn't get rid of John Gruden the first time. We'd have won like about 2 or 3 Super Bowls. He said 4, but imagine he'd been like year 15 with us right now or something like that. Like if we would have never got rid of him the very first time, we'd have won the Super Bowl the year we went there. At least, man, we'd have. I was just sitting here talking about that. That's crazy to think that. Like that's why he gotta come back and coach us, bro. He got to. He's the
So
Donald
Gruden
Trump of
number
football.
1. If it's not Gruden, then it's I guess
the white
Deion's
hair and
number
everything.
2 for you because he out on Carroll, so Carroll's not even on his list.
No,
right?
It's down. So my top 5, you said.
That's top 3 at least. Yeah,
top 3.
Yeah,
it's John Gruden, Chucky, and then the black coach Flores.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so do we get to pick coaches that were like can I pick outside of
the 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it would be Pete Carroll, number 2 Todd Monken, number 3 Liam Cohen, Gruden, and then Deion.
Got you. Okay. All right. For me, guys, it would be.
Oh yeah, hold on. Wait. So if that's the case, I forgot. I'm sorry. We gotta go Gruden 1, then Deion, and then who was the third? When I said, Flores.
Flores.
Yeah, okay. For sure. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I want Flores before Deion though. To keep it honest.
Yeah. So 1 Gruden, 2 Flores, 3 Deion.
Yeah. That's my list. His is probably the other 2 switch. Well, I don't know if he might not even want Flores, but Flores is.
Okay, so for me, guys, it is number 1. It's Pete Carroll. I think, I just feel most comfortable with that. Just because I don't know what happened with Gruden in the front office. If you told me who the GM was going to be with Gruden, maybe he springs up higher, right? He would probably be number 1 if it was the right guy. But it might just be him again. If it's him again, then I shoot myself.
Yeah, if Telesco was the GM, then you would be higher on it. Yeah, but they fired him, right? Absolutely.
So then, I got Pete Carroll 1, and then for me, it's Gruden 2, right? And then for me, after that, it's like a toss-up, right, between some other people. I probably have to say Deion 3, to be honest, right? I want somebody who has some experience, and I feel like Deion has enough head coach experience, but I don't feel like he's learning to be a head coach or anything like that. So my biggest thing is I don't want somebody learning on the job, right? Out of the assistants that are out there, like Cohen and Monken, I think have had enough experience where if they become head coaches, it's not going to be too much for them. But yeah, I was never on the Ben Johnson train. If you look at my original list, Ben Johnson was like my 11th candidate. So, of course, if he wants to coach, number 1 is Belichick, and I don't care what anybody says.
And Belichick's wife is joining the sorority out there. He ain't going nowhere, bro.
He ain't leaving there. It looks like he's about to be a North Carolina guy. Yeah. Once they get you in there, it's hard to get out, man. Chapel Hill. They don't play. It's family. So, yeah, he might be out of the picture. But if he is in the picture, he's number 1, but probably not. So, Pete Carroll, John Gruden, then Deion. And then you can talk to me about these assistants. So, that's how I feel about it. So it's out there, guys.
Belichick chick. She young and bad, huh?
that boy. Hey,
They better not. They better leave his woman alone before they find whoever in Chapel Hill. They'd be like, "You better not mess with
that's off
Belichick's
limits,
woman."
boy. If you anywhere in Chapel Hill, don't mess with Belichick's wife,
Yeah,
bro.
please don't.
Don't do that. We want you to like have a good life. I just don't feel like that's a dude. He way too serious for that shit, bro.
He ain't no killer, but don't push him.
Don't push him, bro.
That boy used to coach Aaron Hernandez, and he knew Aaron Hernandez was crazy and still coached him. And he
Coach him
knew
hard
it.
as hell too.
He knew he was crazy and
Yeah, he
still
give a
coached
shit
him.
too. He's like, your ass gonna sit down.
You're right. You're like, that's not
Do your job. He's like, do your
I'm
job.
good. Go ahead, Chad.
Belichick don't play. That boy. He said, I'm the one wearing the fucking Darth Sidious hood. I don't care. So yeah, that's where we at, man. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here from the folks, even for folks in the chat? If you got something you want to say, now's the time. Now's the time.
Yeah, y'all go to the cabinet and get y'all fruit snacks because Ben Johnson ain't coming over no more. And that's not y'all daddy. And y'all can take all that old content and act like y'all didn't say what y'all said, but I seen y'all saying it. It's cool. Y'all gonna do that about every head. I guess they do it for content. Like, that's what I don't like. Like, are they doing it for content or do they really feel this way? You know what I'm saying? Because it's just weird. It's just weird, man.
Yeah, I just want to say,
Postpone judgment. That was my story. I'm sorry. That was my point.
No, I'm
Postpone
sorry.
judgment. Let the process play out, and then have a thought behind it or a feeling behind it. Because we doing too much feeling right now. Pause.
Absolutely.
We're in our feelings.
So I absolutely agree with what he just said, about the whole Ben Johnson thing. It's over with. It's done. Okay, your guys' heart got broken and shattered, right? That's why I wasn't completely, fully invested in him like all these other fans, because you can't count on anything until the ink hits that paper and it's done, right? And things change, day by day, second by second. And Ben Johnson, he had his choice in the back of his head, and the Bears was his team, right? So I don't want to hear it no more. I will no longer talk about Ben Johnson unless it is brought up as a topic in this show. But as of me on my personal channel, you will never see anything about Ben Johnson. Nothing. He is exiled. And I just want to say thank you for all the people who tuned in and watched here. Make sure you go to our channel, hit the sub, like our content, please. It's free. It don't cost a dime. And shout out to the content creators who failed, completely failed. Y'all dropped the ball, and that's why I take pride when I come on here, because we don't do that stuff. We don't say one thing that it's going to happen and it doesn't happen. You know why? Because it makes you look foolish, and you lost all credibility in your channel for posting all that BS and that nonsense, right? So that is what you get, right? And I always say, I like all the Raider content guys out there, but I just do have to say, for you guys selling wolf tickets out there, that's what you get. And I don't know if your guys' channel could recover from that, unless you're the like super higher up ones, which I'm sure to them it's like. But for all the tinier guys who are just trying to get clicks and likes and all that, shame on you. Shame on you. And I'm going to end this note by saying, I'm Western Confrence, aka Wild Wild West, right? The wagon train has stopped at the station, and it's time for us, to go. But on my take here, I just want to say, as I always say, keep it cool, keep it light, keep it fresh. But try to be a better person each day. Try to improve on yourself each day. Learn something each day. You know what I mean? Don't just be on your phone all day, pulling out some, BS, and you're just scrolling. Exercise your mind, all right? And stay safe out there. And it's been a pleasure as usual. Thank you.
Thank you. Black, got anything you want to close with? Anything you want to teach them peoples about?
Man, just give Gruden his job back, man.
You said, give that man his job. Give that man his job. Yeah. Chaos. In the midst of chaos lies opportunity. It's a saying that I try to remember. Okay.
Tell that to the people in LA.
Shout out to my peeps out there, man. Shit just keeps getting worse, huh?
Prayers and thoughts to all the family and all that out there, man.
Kelly, Kelly, we gonna turn this shit into some lemonade somehow, man. I don't know how yet, but it's gonna be. But yeah, shout out to my peoples out there with the fires, man. That shit ain't cool. But yeah, chaos does give an opportunity, right, for somebody to emerge. So let's see what happens here. But the thing that you want to do is stay positive. Because what else the hell are you gonna do? Negative just guarantees you lose, right? And read in between the lines. That's where it's at. Right there. You know what I'm saying?
One last thing I gotta say. Since the Chiefs are playing, keep a lookout for Taylor Swift and that long ass back, because she does have a long ass back. Why the long face? No, why the long ass back? I ain't gonna say the curse word, but yeah, that long ass back up there pulling that nonsense. Cut the crap, Taylor Swift.
Taylor
All right, I'm
Swift is
done.
a gem. She's really nice to people in the stands and everything too. So shout out to that.
If I was stranded on the ocean, I would just throw on her side and use her to get a float on the back to land with that long ass back. All right, I'm done. I just had to say it because the Chiefs were playing, and I forgot to say it last week. So. All right, shout out to Taylor Swift and long ass back. Go check out her back, y'all. I'm serious. She got that long ass back. It's hella long. You know, I'm like, where does your arch start and end? You know, because it's just one long ass back. All right, y'all. Damn, now we're about to be unceremoniously blocked because. All right.
Oh, I'm not laughing. Anyway, a tall drink of water. So,
like
I said,
speaking of tall, all right, no more. I'm sorry.
Read in between the lines. That's what I said, right? And yeah, man, you know, just stay hot. Good night now.